This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by any anger or rage or frustration, but there is plenty of ranting.
Make me laugh, make me cry. Don't go in there, you're going to die. Grab a drink from the room, pass the popcorn and away we go. I was a teenage film snob, baby. I was a teenage film snob, baby.
Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And guys, it's a solo show, and you know when I do a solo show, I love to get a guest on, whether they're involved in making films, they're on camera, or like me, they like talking about films. They're just a fan and love to share their love of the genre, the medium, I should say. And for the first time in a while, I've got a podcaster on, which is nice. It's been a while since we had a podcasting guest. And he and I have got a lot more in common than I realized until just recently. We've been running in the same circles for the last 3 years, at least, as long as my show's been around. We've been running in the same physical circles because it turns out we're only about 20 minutes away from each other, which we never knew. And we both started out shows for kind of the same reason, just wanting to talk about movies during a time where there wasn't a lot of conversation going because we were stuck in a pandemic. If you're familiar with the show Lights, Camera, Rant, you're already very aware of how wonderful my guest is today and how great he is. He's a wonderful source of news, and he really pushes the boundary. He's not just talking about movies, he's talking about TV shows and gaming, and he's doing live streams on YouTube and everything I think a lot of us would like to try and do, but he's just knocking it out of the park. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Rant himself, the host of Lights, Camera, Rant. It's Leigh. Welcome to the show,
Hey.
mate.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here, and thank you for that awesome intro too. Thanks.
Sorry.
No,
Oh, you're going to say something. I was just saying, I just make it up on the spot and I just try to make it as nice as possible.
no, it was good, and you're 100% right. I did not realize how close we were in more areas than I thought of, especially when we figure out how close a brand new IMAX is coming to us.
Well, you were the one who broke the news for me because I don't follow
Yeah.
a lot of the news channels and stuff like that because every channel is a news channel and they're often
No.
getting it wrong quite a bit. So you've become
Oh,
my
yeah.
trusted source of news.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, I'm a big fan. I've been digging the clips you've been putting up, and I've been following you just for the news for quite a while and stuff like that. And that's, as I was saying in the intro, it's weird that it took us this long because you've been doing your show. You've just celebrated 4 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I've been doing mine for 3 years, and we've appeared on other kind of mutual friends before. Like we've both done the awards show for Movie Boners. We've done some collabs with Rev Almanac. Yet somehow it wasn't until you announced IMAX that we're like, oh, we're both not only both Australian podcasters, we're both Victorian podcasters, and both in the southeast, which is insane. Like I go to Fountain Gate for my movies quite a bit, so it's kind of crazy that we are so close.
I know, and with you, like as I mentioned, like I've been watching your 90-second reels for so long. That is one of the most unique things I've seen a movie podcaster do, and I always like, yep, always on schedule, 90 seconds. It's this guy's perfect niche.
Thank you.
Your logo is really good.
Everything, you're being very sweet, and thank you so much. But everything about it is circumstantial. It all kind of happened. It was very little effort on my part. The 90-second reviews, we were talking about this before we started recording. I was in Scotland. I lived in Scotland for 6 months last year, and every single guest that I usually have on were all in the Australian time zone. There's a 14-hour time difference, so they either had to get up really early or stay up really late for me. And some did, which was lovely, but I couldn't expect all of them to do it. So I was like, all right, well, I'll find what's the remedy to this? Like, do I just shut down the page for 6 months? I was like, the whole idea of this is to kind of help me get to talk about movies more. So I don't really want to shut it down. And my wife can only listen to me talk about movies for so long. Something I'm sure your wife also can share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, what if I just do reviews? I never really wanted to do the whole critic thing. So I won't do the critic thing. I'll just talk about movies for 90 seconds. And that just kind of happened on its own. And then the logo, again, like, thank you so much. My friend Josh, who's been on the show a bunch of times, I've known him for closing on 40 years. Like we've been well, maybe 35. We met in primary school in prep, so we've known each other forever. And he's always been an artist. Now he runs his own independent game studio. He's currently working on his first open world platformer type game, which is going to launch on the
so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. He's been on the show a couple of times and he's talked about it. So I said to him, I said, look, I know you're really busy, like achieving all your dreams, but if you've got 5 minutes, do you want to design a logo? And he was like, yeah, what do you want? I'm like, I don't, no rules. I find that if you're an artist, like the last thing you need is rules. You just go wild, you come back to me. And you've said to me before, you really like the yellow. I
Mm.
was blown away. I was like, why I'm like, it's so striking. Why the yellow? And he's like, James, you're using these like slideshows and all the text is in yellow. I was like, oh, okay, that
Oh.
makes sense. Like, I was creating all of my episode art just in like, actually, I still am. I'm using the exact same program. I got this free app that it lets me just choose a background and put text over. So that's what I was doing. I literally just got like a stock image of VHS tapes and just like got like a texter font, and I was like, that's the episode font. And then he was like, no,
Done.
we can do better. And
Yeah.
and then he came up with a logo, which is yeah, it's I'm very excited by it as well. Like it's a little bit gauche to be kind of into your own stuff that much, but I didn't create it, so I think it's okay. But no, thank you. Yours is very striking as well. I like your logo quite a bit. The with you holding the mic and stuff, I think that's very cool. And you use the big bold red, so I think we kind of go together quite well. We're ketchup and mustard. We
I
work
was
well.
literally about to say the same thing. I was just like it being my 2 seconds. Because my favorite color has always been red, and I've always seen people like little icons either have like a white or a blue or yellow. I was like, nah, do red. It'll
Yeah.
stand out.
That was his argument as well. I was like, oh, it's very bold. Because yellow's not my favorite color. I would put it quite low on the spectrum of colors in terms of my preference. But he was like, look, he goes, it's your show, you do what you want, but no one else is using yellow. He's like, and you have been using yellow, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, you have been using it. I think it's quite striking. I was like, all right, well, let me have a look. And he was right. Like, a lot of the time, a lot of the compliments we get about the show, just in general, is they love the artwork. And the few people who have bought merch, like Jake, who's one of the hosts of Movie Bonus, he bought a shirt just for the 100th episode. He was part of my 100th episode, and he bought a shirt so he could wear it in a video that wasn't even part of the show. And he talked about like the logo and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. Like, I'm so glad people dig the logo. I have nothing to do with it. I just said to the guy, you're artistic. You do whatever you like.
Thank you.
I would really like, though, because the film snob, as you were, is wearing sunglasses that are made of a VHS cassette. And I'm like, how expensive would it be to merchandise that? I'd love to get like some 3D printed VHS. Like, remember before he was insane, Kanye like kind of trademarked those glasses, like those dumb glasses. I'm like, oh, could I trademark some dumb glasses like that? Like, I do kind of like.
It could. Yeah. We're at a premiere.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it might only work in ink. I don't know if it'll work in real life, but I would like a pair of VHS glasses at some point.
Yeah, you can do that, man. And that's another thing is like if you wear like, which I'm pretty sure you did when we went to Ballerina, you wore your shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever generally when I'm on a guest on someone else's show, or if I'm doing something where I'm appearing, like I'm not like attached to it, I always, you got to self promo. You got to do it. Yeah, you're covered in it.
100%. I was saying to another podcast not too long ago, I'm like, I don't care if I look like a NASCAR driver. I'm like, I'm going to promote the share of this.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Like, it's so funny. We were talking about this ages ago. I think it was in recording as well. I was talking, and it was my buddy Josh again, because we both like grew up like kind of in the metal scene. We loved like heavy music, and we would hate it when bands would sell out. We love, like we loved watching these, these movies and stuff, but we'd hate it when these creators got paid heaps of money and like abandoned like their original style. And I was talking, I'm like, you know what? I don't care what Teenage James says. Like, please, I'll gladly sell out. Like, he might have had, at least his heart was in the right place, but he'd never kid or a mortgage. Like, I've got a kid and a mortgage. I'd love to sell that. Yeah.
I'll do it.
This might be the most we've spoken. We talked a little bit at Ballerinas, so clearly people listening are like, oh, these guys have been friends for ages. This is the most we've ever spoken. Like, it's nice to finally be able to sit down and chat with you and have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh man, it was a very like obvious decision for me. Like, once we started talking, I'm like, I got to get Leigh on the show. We got to have a chat. So many podcasters, so little time. But I'm like, we can make room. We can get him on the show. I always like to ask my guests about their love of film. Clearly, you love film. Like the amount of stuff you're posting up, like clearly you're a fan. Where does it begin for you, man? I feel like we're in similar age range. I think I've got a couple of years on you, but I think we're in a similar bracket.
I'm 32.
So I'm okay. So yes, I turned 37 this year.
Oh, okay,
It's
yeah.
it's
A
my
lot.
Jane Silent Bob year. So yeah. So where does it begin for you? Like, are you a lifelong fan? Do you kind of discover film later in high school? Like, where does your love begin?
No, for me, as a kid, like the biggest, I remember watching like Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, and getting so immersed and loving the whole idea of going to a film that was like a different world, these stories, these iconic characters, these adventures that you know, a lot more interesting than the real world, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that doesn't. They don't have to pay for bills, do they?
Well, they do, but somehow they always manage to work it out. Whether
Yeah.
it's it's a sexy car wash, or do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, or you have a billionaire friend that does all the heavy lifting for you.
that's it. Or they're catching ghosts, and you can charge a steep price because you're the only gang in town. I hear you.
That's
Um,
it. That's it. But no, I always love going to the movies. I love actually. It's funny. I say I always love going to the movies, but I swear in the past 12 months that cinema etiquette has just gone down the effing toilet.
you can curse; it's totally fine.
Oh,
But yeah,
good. Fuck. Thank fuck. Oh.
we didn't have that pre-game chat. I don't tend to curse too much on the show, but yeah, you can say what you. My wife, oh my god, like has said like she's taken as blue as you can get. My wife is the filthiest mouth on the podcast.
Like
Yeah, you guys were talking about it on your 4th anniversary episode, the etiquette thing, and yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely. I don't know whether it's interesting. My wife's a teacher; she's a secondary teacher, and we've
oh,
talked about.
that's so weird. My wife's a teacher too.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah.
We're actually both working in education, and it's interesting. Like we were talking about COVID, and I think COVID is obviously we know it's impacted the theatrical experience in general. Like obviously, people aren't going to the movies as much, but we've noticed like it's really stunted the emotional development of children
Mm.
because they weren't in a classroom, because they weren't around their peers. They were just behind a screen. Ironically, you and I are both behind screens now. For 4 years or whatever the case was, is how long it felt in Melbourne, at least. They
Yeah.
didn't
Oh.
develop that emotional intelligence. So when my wife took on these 7th or 8th graders, they were still acting like they were in primary school. Like they just had no emotional. And I think that's translated into a lot of the behavior. That being said, when I went and saw Barbie in cinema, the woman who's sitting next to me just got out her mobile phone and was recording it from the minute on, and she was not a child. And then she took a phone call. I was like, "What are you doing?"
What the fuck? Why? I don't. The thing is, I don't get is like people. Did COVID ruin people's attention spans? Cannot people not sit still and watch a movie for so long? Like hell, Oppenheimer was 2.5, nearly 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame
Endgame.
was 3 hours long. And I have no doubt Doomsday will be.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like, I know the attention span's not there anymore. I think TikTok is
3 seconds.
definitely part of that. I think it's interesting. Like the thing that blew my mind, and it's been going on for almost 10 years now, but like now they started releasing trailers, and before the trailer begins, there's like a 5-second bite that summarizes the trailer. I'm like, what is that? Why? And then like someone said, oh, it's because kids on TikTok don't have the attention span for 2.5 minutes. I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? 2.5 minutes? It's Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like those
Yeah.
2.5 minutes were the most amazing 2.5 minutes of your life. And then I found out people watch movies like on Netflix and stuff on streaming in like 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? Why do you want it to be over? Like,
I don't get that. And even like yesterday, when saw Jurassic World Rebirth, midday. Okay, it could have been my fault. Midday, Saturday, like all the families could come. No, there was a weird guy with a really weird loud cough. There was a child about 5 or 6 that was crying, and there was another kid that was crying. I'm like, and the funny thing is, you think that the etiquette would be different if you go to a premiere. It's not.
No, we went to it to the same premiere, and there was some nonsense going on. The guy in front of me, there was a guy in the row in front of me, and I guess he just didn't get enough sleep because he kept yawning. But I don't know if you heard him. It was the most comically loud yawn I've heard. He was just like, oh, like throughout the film, and it was taking me out of it. And I know you've had to tell people to shut up before, threaten to kick them out. So
No, I have my best mate who I go with. He does that. He can't
yeah,
stand it. And where did we go? We went to the premiere for Megan 2,
mm,
and literally there was a couple next to us that were scrolling on their phones, and then something dropped on the ground. So he turned his light on full of his camera, trying to find what he dropped. There was a pack of hyena mums in the corner crackling at every laugh,
mm.
like they've been drinking wine. I'm like, you've been invited to a premiere. This is meant to be something like that. You be quiet and you watch it because you're seeing it before everybody else.
It's crazy. It's so special and unique. Like you're such a part of us. Like we're killing ourselves trying to get into these things. Doing anything.
Nah.
I'm driving up the viewers. Like, please. I'm almost at 2,000. Let's do it. And
Yeah.
whereas these people get in somehow. We were talking about this. I was just on the Movie Bonus podcast. I don't want to spoil too much because it hasn't come out yet. But we were talking about critics and not so much the etiquette in the cinema, but just there seems to be no joy in modern critics anymore. It's just everything is terrible and they just tear it apart. And I was like, can you imagine getting paid to go and see a movie for free and then just hating everything? Why would you do the job?
Where?
The etiquette thing's been going on for a while. I know when I went and saw Infinity War the second time, there were a bunch of teenagers behaving irresponsibly. It was a full theater as well. I wasn't too mad because I'd already seen it at least. So I was like, oh, this is annoying, but thank goodness I've seen it. Although I did turn around and said, I've seen this. I remember my wife was like, I've seen this. I will spoil it for you. Shut up. I did say that.
They all live.
Yeah. And then I remember Guardians 2. I got to an advance. It wasn't like a premiere, but Reading sometimes release the movie a night early. So they release them on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays. Or at least they used to. I went to see Guardians 2, and I was sat next to a couple, and the woman in the relationship was hot for Chris Pratt. And I know this because every time he was on screen, she was making really inappropriate remarks. And I just turned, and she was like, "Oh, he's so hot," and I'm not here to contest that. Dude's a good-looking dude. He's charming. He's funny. Somehow he's a Republican, but people still love him. So, that's fine. I get the appeal. But you're in a movie theater, man. Just know your place. And I turned to her. I said, hey, he's not going to sleep with you. Just shut up. She didn't like that one. I also didn't say sleep with you. I definitely said something else. My wife wasn't too happy with me that day either. But I don't know. The etiquette thing is a pain. I had a real dad moment. I took my daughter to the Minecraft movie a few months back.
Oh no! Don't tell me you got the chicken jockey thing.
So my daughter is 4. She's about to turn 5, and she is way into the cinema. She loves it. She's collecting Blu-rays now, which is very exciting for me. We've actually got a little shelf here. You can kind of see. I've got all my movies, but while we were overseas in the UK, I was buying up heaps because they get way more stuff than we get down here. And my daughter was like, "Can I buy movies?" I was like, "Absolutely, you can."
Of course you can. Of course.
And she was like, "Can I get one?" I was like, "Yes." And she goes, "Can I get 3?" And I said, "Yes." But I took her to Minecraft, and I did something I've never done before. And when I bought the ticket, I pulled the woman at the counter. So I said, "Hey," I was like, "I know it's probably not as bad as it seems, but do I have to deal with any nonsense today?" I've never done that before. Am I going to have to deal with any nonsense in the cinema? And they clearly rehearsed this. I remember Universal, whoever's distributing the film, they put out I don't know if you saw this, but they put out a warning before the movie began.
No.
So I was sitting in the theater, and before the movie begins, there's a big Minecraft themed sign. And it's we understand you're excited, and we're so excited that you're excited for Minecraft. Please be respectful of your audience and your fellow filmgoers. So Universal, I think it was Universal distributed, they actually were aware of it, and they put out a disclaimer before the film to calm people down. But when I spoke to the woman, she was like, "Look, we've been stamping it out. We haven't seen it here because it happened." The big one was at Eastland, which isn't too far from us, and that was a local theater for me for a while.
No.
But I was in Dandenong. I went to the Reading in Dandenong, and she was like, "Look, if you do see anything going on, just let us know. But we're we're on it. There'll be people in there, and there were ushers in the cinema, and nothing happened. There was one kid who like was trying to start something. He was like, "Woo!" and like no one gave him anything. He just kind of awkwardly sat back down.
Yeah.
So I'll take that.
Well,
Um,
no, but no, and that's what I find funny too, because I went to the premiere for Universal, which
mm,
there was a lot of families that went,
mm,
and all the kids were good.
yeah.
Parents were good. There was no crying kids. There was no kids out of line. Everyone sat down. It was fine. And then the next day, I look on Instagram. It's like, and this is what's happening in Minecraft. I'm like, oh, well, thank Christ.
It's crazy. And I don't mind it. Like, I've got, as I said, I've got a daughter. Like, so if kids are crying in the theater, like, I get it. Like, it's going to happen from time to time. I took my daughter to see Wicked. She's
Yeah.
way too young for Wicked, but she really wanted to see it. And I was like, screw it. Like, worst case scenario, we'll leave early. And that kid sat in her chair for 2 hours and 45 minutes, like, enraptured. She experienced her first jump scare, which was very kind of a cool dad moment. I'm like, "You're all right?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's good." I was like, "All right, good."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she's like, "I want to see what happens." But she, she's gotten scared and stuff, and she will ask me questions. But she, we have like I had the conversation with her, like, this is a movie. Like, you can ask me questions because there'll be things you understand, but you whisper it. Like, you can't
Mm,
say it loud. And the first couple of times, like, she was a little bit loud. Like, we took her to Super Pets when she was 2. She was
mm.
loud in that one, but it's like the village like kids cinema with the slide and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Terrible idea, by the way. Like, all the kids wanted to do was go on the slide the whole time. I'm like, you paid for a movie. And I took her to the Frozen re-release when they did the 10-year anniversary screening. I took her to that, and she kind of was a little bit fidgety, but we were the only
Mm,
people in the theater, so it was fine.
of
But no,
course.
she's good. She keeps, she whispers, and she
Mm.
is probably more interested in the snacks than anything else. Um,
As
but
you are.
yes, I don't mind crying kids, but it's when like, yeah, when kids, I'll give a lot of leeway to because they're kids. But
Yeah.
like like adults, you got to know better. Like, you've been going to the movie since before the pandemic.
Mm.
Like, like, this is a quiet place. Like, don't answer your phone. Like,
Um,
I leave my phone on now because I do have a child and because I've got an elderly father. So I'm like, you know what? There might be an emergency. I'll have my phone, but it is on silent. It is on like dark mode. You won't
Vibrate.
know. Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
They don't even tell you to switch your phones off anymore in the theater. They just say to put it on vibrate. It's not difficult to
That's
do.
no. And it's funny, like you actually said it, because there was one premiere where a guy had literally went on his phone to start scrolling like next to us for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, if you don't want to
Yeah,
be here, go.
yeah, yeah. No one's keeping you. It's not a prison. You can leave whenever you like. It's weird that you do want to look that you can't not look at the screen in your pocket for more than 5 minutes. So that's kind of
Mm.
crazy.
Even though there's a
Um,
giant freaking screen in front of you.
yeah, it's funny. Like, I definitely, since the pandemic, I've relied on my phone a lot more, and I have found something if I'm watching something in my house, I will like drift to my phone every now and then if it's not
Oh
grabbing my
yeah.
attention. Um, which is why I turn my garage into a theater because I'm like, if it's a cinema, I'll respect the rules and I'll put my phone away.
Wait.
And like, it literally does happen. Like, my phone, like, it'll be on my like little popcorn tray, but I will not touch my phone if I'm watching a movie in here. But if I am in the house, like, I do stray. Although I rewatched No Way Home last night,
Mm.
and like, that phone didn't get touched once. I was like, man, this is
Oh, good.
magic. This film,
It's no way home.
this is magic.
Yeah. Uh,
We got incredibly sidetracked, which
No,
is what happens on this show.
yeah, partially my fault because I was saying I'm like how much I love theater. But you know what's also horrible at the moment?
Yeah.
Um, no, sorry. Going back to the original question, yeah, I've always loved the magic of films, as cliche as that sounds, and just the different characters, the different worlds, and I remember like Saturday nights with my old man. He'd be like,
Mm,
we need to watch all the Star Wars. We need to
yeah.
watch the Indiana Joneses. We need to watch Back to the Future. We need to watch Ghostbusters. You need to watch all these films, and then it slowly turned. Now you got to watch Saving Private Ryan, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm,
And I used to like very like the pure back of your wall. I used to collect DVDs
mm.
until the point where I was like, I had to move out of home. I'm like, oh, uh, yeah, I don't have a lot of room to take all these. Uh,
It's
uh,
it's an expensive hobby. It's not too
Yeah.
bad now in Australia. Like when I was in the UK, it was very pricey, but I'll pay for the stuff that I can't get over here. But it is like people don't think about the amount of space that it takes up. And there was a period of time where I was collecting comic books and Blu-rays, and I
Oh.
was like, I'm gonna have to cut one of these. And I was like, you know what? Like, comics is a new hobby to me. Movies is my lifelong love. I can put the comics. I'll just get trades for the comics like every now and then. But yeah, when we first moved in, my wife and I, when we were still dating, um, very early on, she was like, "Look, I love that you've got them, but this is a home with adults in it, and we're going to have adult guest service, so we can't have movies on every single wall." So very quickly, the spare bedroom became a storage room. I didn't have that many back then. I didn't have that many. Like now, there's over 1,000 Blu-rays on the wall, and the DVDs are all tucked away somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It's quite nice because I've got nephews and nieces who never grew up in the video store era. Like they were all born after the video store. So my niece, who's about to turn 16, she was in here one day, like we're having like a family barbecue or something, and she's looking at the wall, and her mum, my wife's sister, like comes over. She's like, "It's like going to Blockbuster." I'm like, "That's the point." And like
Yeah.
now your daughter, who doesn't even know what Blockbuster is experiencing Blockbuster for the first time. I was a Video Easy kid myself.
Yeah.
I worked at
Same.
Video Easy for a couple of years, but you know, Blockbuster, fine, that's okay. Speaking of video stores, very ham-fisted segue. You mentioned Ghostbusters, you mentioned Star Wars stuff. Obviously, being your kind of similar age to me, these were all out in theaters and gone long before either of us were born. So, were you very much a video store kid, or was it just it's on Channel 9, we're going to kind of crank it and watch it with the ads and stuff? Or
Just crank on Channel 9, Channel
yeah,
7. I can watch it. And oh, look, there's Terminator 2 for the 10th, 100th time. And I still remember thinking for so long, I was like, oh, thinking Terminator 2 was the first film because Channel 9 never played the first film ever.
Mm,
But no, I'm like you, Video Easy every Friday, every
yes,
Saturday, getting the new film, either a new film or going to the bin to get like the three, like for I think it was like three for $10 to $15, or getting the fresh game. And I was also that weird kid that was like, "Are you done with that poster?"
yes.
And yeah, having Spider-Man or Dark Knight or something on my wall
Yeah.
at that time. But yeah, I was that. I remember I did have the giant. I don't know why I got it, but I had the giant like cardboard thing of
Yes.
Spider-Man 2.
Yes. So when I worked at Video Easy, I didn't have the presence of mind to do it when I was a customer. Although I first started working at Video Easy I was 15. In fact, I wasn't even 15. I was just under there because when I was a teenager, there was kind of a gray rule. Like it wasn't like you had to be 16. I think now you have to be 16 to get a job. But
Yes.
they were like, oh, 14 and 9 months, which I don't think was official. But like the minute I hit 14 and 9 months, I rode my bike down to Video Easy every single day. Like, do you have a job? And I would bug the crap out of them like constantly. And eventually I came down and like, actually, we do have a job. Do you want it? And that's when I kind of had the confidence to start like
Yes.
taking posters and like the big cardboard things to that. Like Video Easy had like the checklist, like the movies you must watch, and I had that up on my wall and stuff like that.
Yes.
So yeah, so it seems like we have very similar childhoods.
Very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, you used
so
to
go,
have
go.
all those posters. Used to yeah, all those movies. Uh, and it's funny actually. My Video Easy is now a dental clinic. I'm pretty sure now.
Which one was your Video Easy?
It was oh shit. It was in Ringwood.
Okay.
Um, oh God, I can't remember. Eastfield Shops. Yeah, near the Croydon Oval.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I grew up in the west, so I actually grew up
Yeah.
I grew up near Essendon. That's where I grew up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I moved out this way in 2012, right before the world was supposed to end. I moved out.
That's right. There's a movie about that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. But I remember we moved to Lilydale. That's when my wife and I first settled down,
Oh,
and we were there in 2012. And to the best of my knowledge, there were no video stores left, but there was a lone Video Easy in Muralbark in their plaza, and like they were there. I want to say for another 5 years. I don't know how they survived, but they were still chugging away, and they would do, your 5 weeklies or your 3-day highs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so they still had VHS tapes. I was like, holy Christ!
Okay.
I
Well,
know, I've got a VCR, but you shouldn't have VHS tapes.
no, no
That being said,
way.
I do have VHS tapes on that shelf over there. And I just cleaned out my old man's place. I found a bunch more. I was like, aha, for the collection.
And
Um,
I'll take that, and I'll take that.
yeah.
And look what happened to Video Easy. They got turned into vending machines.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still around. I remember when I worked, they were really worried about the internet when I first started working there. They were like, oh, the internet's going to kill us. And we went to this conference or this training night, and they're like, we need to. And some guy was like, some guy was doing a presentation. It was like, it's not the internet we need to worry about, it's the dissolving disk. I'm like, what's the dissolving disk? I don't know if you've heard of this. Never took off. They're like, there's a technology in America. It's so dumb. There's no way it was true. They're like, in America, they've created a disc that you can rent, and it starts to deteriorate the minute you open the envelope. By the end of 3 days, you won't be able to watch the movie. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What?
But I was 15, so I believed it. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, that's the future of
Yeah.
entertainment. I hope if someone's ever heard of the dissolving disc, please let me know. Like,
Jeez, well, and isn't it? To test me, I could be wrong, but wasn't it that Blockbuster had a chance to own Netflix, but they
that's
declined?
yes, that sounds like they're like nothing will ever put the video store out of business. And then Netflix made a sitcom about Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Um,
And boom.
yeah, it's I do miss it though. Like I do miss the video store. It's just like in a world where libraries still exist, I don't know why we can't find a way to keep video libraries open. I know right now in Melbourne, and you've probably heard of this. There's like an exhibition. I think it's at the what is it? The Museum of Immigration, and someone's put up a
Yeah.
retro video store in there, so you can go in and like recreate the video store experience. Um,
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah, I don't know if you can actually rent anything in there, but it's the Museum of Immigration has done like a mock-up video store, which is kind of cool. But
And
like 90% of people going in, they don't know what it is because like everyone.
this is where you get charged extra money if you forget about that movie.
Ah, that was the best, man. I love video. I love working in video stores. I love being a customer in a video store. It's a lost art. Like that's why I keep buying them, and that's why I keep turning my garage more and more into one because maybe they'll come back. We'll see.
Oh, things are funny enough coming around. And uh, look, I do. Don't get me wrong. I love the convenience of streaming services. I don't love how much that I have to pay for them, and it just sucks. There's always like one or two movies that I'll try and find. I'm like, of course they're nowhere. Of course they're nowhere to be played.
It's
Um,
yeah, I've been my listeners know my feelings on streaming. And I come down pretty hard on the streaming service, especially like Disney. Like Disney, I knew when they announced the Guardians 3 was going to be the last physical media they released. I'm like,
yeah.
we watch in 6 months, the prices are getting jacked up. And we've had 2 price increases since then.
Yep.
We've had 2 prices increases. And I feel the one I feel sorry for the most is Binge. I just signed up for Binge a couple of months, maybe a month or two back, because I wanted to watch Saturday Night Live and I really like Taskmaster. So I was like, great. I was like, plus all the HBO content. Not anymore. Max
Nope.
Max gutted them. HBO refused to come to Australia for the longest time.
Mm.
Binge had all their stuff, and then this year, they're like, oh, we'll take over, and Binge
Yeah.
has nothing. I was like,
No, and that's it's funny. I had that same rant in my podcast when HBO Max announced. I'm like, well, that really kills Binge even
yeah.
further, becoming the streaming platform that no Australian uses.
Well, I was password sharing a buddy of mine who no longer has Binge. He just lent me his password because he's like, look, don't pay for another stream service. You know, mine. And the only reason he got it was so we could watch Justice League. You know, when in 2021 when the Snyder Cut came out.
So did we. So did
I feel like most people, like, no, well, not most, but that's not fair. Like, there are plenty of people like, what's a Snyder Cut? But anyone who cares about film and stuff, I think one of their biggest selling points was we got HBO, we got Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Boom.
And then we just kept using it from time to time. Now that I'm finally paying it for myself, there's nothing on there. But yeah.
Nah, and
Uh,
out of all streaming service, it's Amazon that annoys me the most.
yes, I was about to say that's the one. I do have it, and I only have it because I pay for Prime for shipping. But once um my wish list is clear and there's not much left, I'm gonna cancel. Like Invincible is great, The Boys is great, but I don't know how you can justify charging a monthly fee and then also charging additional for new movies. So like,
I I I
just
I, I don't get it either.
yeah,
I'm
just
like,
charge me a little bit more. It's cheap. Like it's $7 a month. That's totally acceptable for me.
hmm,
You could charge me 10. You could charge me $12. Don't charge me a price for a new release movie because I'm not going to use it. I will go out and spend my money on a disc. I'm not going to support your new release nonsense.
nah,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just wait a little bit longer until it comes to normal streaming
Mm.
service and not do it. But yeah, that's the thing that annoys. Yeah, I wish they would do the same. I'm like, yes, I know Disney Plus is, I think, like $19 now or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I have no ads. I don't get, or I don't get halfway through the show, have an ad where the volume is louder than the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind like with binge we're paying the cheapest one so it does have ads. It's not too bad. It's never more than 3 ads. It's never more than a minute. I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. If it's gonna save me $10, 'cause I think the no ad version is $20. I'm like, no, $10. I'll take 3 ads every now and then. That's fine. But at Amazon, sometimes it's seven. There's
Yeah.
7 ads, and their interface. This is like the angriest I've ever been on my show. When you get someone on your show called Mr. Ranch, you have to meet them at their level.
Mm.
Their interface is garbage. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is. And it's funny again, because I was having the same conversation with a mate this morning, because I was like, well, I want to go back and watch Stargate, which is
Mm.
owned by Amazon, yet I have to pay an extra $5 for the subscription through Amazon through MGM to watch it.
So no one else has Stargate, only Amazon, and they're charging you extra to watch it. That's insane.
Yes. Because you need to get an MGM subscription
Yeah.
through Amazon.
And then the other problem, of course, with streaming, and people are like, can you ask him about his movies? Yes, we're getting there. Is the fact that they can pull episodes. Like they just the big thing was Paramount. I don't know why it took so long for Paramount to get South Park. They own it, but like they in South Park, and it's already been revealed that like a bunch of episodes are not going to be released on the streaming service
Like
because
20.
yeah, because they're quote unquote like not PC enough. And like I understand, I understand. I'm not insensitive. I get it, but it's also like yeah, but it's South Park. Like that would be like criticizing. Like it's Always Sunny are doing it every week. Like they've been doing it for 20 years,
I know.
which that blew my mind. It's Always Sunny's been going around for 20 years. It's like oh my god, um,
I know. And,
yeah.
but that's the thing. That's what I think it was. I think it was HBO Max. Yeah, it must have been HBO Max that did it. When you go to watch the old cartoons of Looney Tunes,
There's a disclaimer.
there's a disclaimer. I'm like, then just do a disclaimer for South Park
Yeah, that's fine.
and make it 18 plus.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think South Park needs a disclaimer. I think South Park speaks for itself. But yes,
Yeah.
that's like if you have to like hold someone's hand, like that's the way to do it. Don't pull it. The craziest one, the one that blew my mind, and I don't know if you heard this. You must have. You're posting all these news articles. You must have heard this. This was a few years back. Stan at the time had the rights to Community, and they pulled the Dungeons and Dragons episode because Chang is painted in black because he's a dark elf, and they're like, yeah, it's too close to blackface, and it's like, no, that's not what blackface is. Yes, his face is painted black, but that's not blackface. Like that's black paint because, like, it's not like it, like and
Yeah.
all by the way, no black people came out and complained about Community. By the way, it was all white people. Like
Yeah.
that one blew my
Ah.
mind. The Christmas episode from The Office blew my mind. Like because there was a joke, and to be fair, Nate was in blackface in that one, but the whole point of the episode was they're commenting on how behind the times certain European countries are because some of them still do that. So I'm
Mm.
like, if you can't understand nuance in a sitcom, like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like maybe
Yeah.
TV isn't for you. Like, Yeah. So
Have you-
streaming, that's what, yeah. So like I've got all my community DVDs, I've got all my office DVDs.
Hmm,
They can pull whatever they like.
hmm.
It's fine.
I don't get it either. I'm like, well, look, put a disclaimer or something like that. Like people gonna want to watch the entire thing. I don't want to see gaps missing or jumping. Like I was more surprised about South Park, the fact that it's like 20 episodes that they're taking out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
why?
how do you choose? Because they're all offensive.
They
Like
are. They are. And I'm pretty sure the 20 episodes that are actually missing, I think, are one of the funniest because they're the most wrong.
yeah. Uh,
All
yeah.
right. So, that's the part I do admit. Or the fact that when you go watch a movie and it's different to how you remember it because it's different on the DVD.
Yes, someone I saw this apparently. I don't know where I read it today that apparently the streaming version of Sinners is different to the theatrical version. Um,
Really?
and I don't know if that's true. I haven't done enough research. I was literally like, I was at like a family event. I was just like glossing through my phone for like 5 minutes, and maybe it was on Reddit. So if it was on Reddit, definitely don't trust it. But someone was saying that like, am I crazy? Like it feels like um, certain like plot points happened way later in the streaming version. So I don't know. We'll see. Um,
Oh,
and then someone was like, "Yeah, the theatrical cut was the director's cut," and I was like, "Do you know what a theatrical cut is? Like,
I don't think people do. And
it's in the name, guys." Oh,
I don't get it. And I must say, if I'm talking about movies, because I just watched Jurassic Park, films that underwhelmed me, and I think critics may have ruined it for me, was Sinners.
Sinners is interesting because I'd heard lots of good things about. I'd
Mm.
heard the only spoiler I'd heard was that it was a vampire movie, which isn't really a spoiler, but the trailer doesn't tell you that, which I quite liked.
Mm.
I really enjoyed it. I think it's 20 minutes too long, and I do think that people are glossing over the fact that it's from dusk till dawn. Like,
It is.
yeah,
It is. What I got to me was like everyone's like, "Oh, this is amazing! You know, this is the best film of 2025. This is so good. You know what this does." And I literally watching it and got to the end of it like, "Oh, okay."
it's good. It's
Oh,
cool.
yeah. I was
Like
like,
Michael B. Jordan playing twins, great,
"Yeah,
love it.
brilliant."
Haley Steinfeld continues to charm. Like, uh,
Especially her line too.
yes, that line, holy Christ. The guy who played the villain, whose name I'm forgetting right now, Jack. Um, how am I forgetting his name? Jack O'Connell. Wonderful.
Yes.
Didn't even realize it was
Yeah.
him. I was like, who is this guy? It was Jack O'Connell. Like, all really good. But I have seen that movie before, and everyone's brushing over it. And like, I think they took what Rodriguez did and found a way to make it classy. Like you took an exploitation film and made it palatable to a wider
Hmm.
audience. So that was really cool. Did the post-credit sequence need to be 15 minutes long? Probably not. Like, but no, I really enjoyed it. But it's not my number one film of the year. Like, I
Nah.
walked out and I really enjoyed it. But there's other films I've seen since that I probably would put higher. I just watched Companion for the first time this week.
How fucking good is that?
That blew my mind. I was like, because I knew a little bit. Now, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Companion. It's out on Blu-ray now, so you know it's
Yeah.
been out for a while. I knew it was about AI. I didn't know anything other than that. All I knew was about like an AI thing, and they double bluff you so many times.
Mm.
I was like, when obviously there's an inciting incident, I'm like, that's what this story is, and then that's not what the story is at all.
No.
I was like, holy crap! Like, it reminded me a lot of Ex Machina, which I loved. Which that's 10 years old now, which is insane. But yeah, Companion, I think, is probably fighting for the mantle of number one film of the year for me at the moment. I really enjoyed Companion.
Dude, I'm right there with you. Actually, it was my number one. What's taken over is F1.
Interesting. That's I love watching everything. That is an example of a movie that doesn't really pique my interest at all. It's one that I'll probably wait till Blu-ray and then buy it and watch it and then probably love it, just like with Top Gun Maverick. Had no interest in Top Gun Maverick. Watch them like, well, I'm an idiot. But yeah,
Well,
it happens a lot. It happens
Yeah.
a lot. But I think if you can call yourself an idiot, it's okay.
Fine.
But I do like Brad Pitt, so I will check it out at some point. But I'm so far behind. Like, I haven't been to Megan. I probably won't get to Megan now. Like, I haven't been to Jurassic World this weekend. That was basically my window because next week Superman,
Zoom
which I'm very excited about. The week after that, I've got I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then the week
in.
after that is FF.
Yep.
Like
And you're going to the premiere for one of those.
I am. I don't know whether I'm allowed to talk about which one that is. I think listeners can be like, well, there's no way you can invite it to two of those ones. So you can
Yeah.
but yes, it's gonna be a pretty full schedule. Like
Ah,
I was meant to take my daughter to Elio today, and again, no, tomorrow, but that's not gonna happen now. So I'm gonna try and get her to Elio next week, maybe.
I've totally forgot that that film came out. Like it, I saw someone post about it. I was like, oh, that's right.
Mm.
Why do I feel like I've seen nothing? I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen any much promotional material about it, or not many people talking about it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's the lowest performing. I think they said it was the lowest performing in Pixar history.
Ooh.
But also like something has to be like like I'm sure it still made like Elio made more money in its opening weekend than I've made in my entire life. So do you know what I mean? Like it's probably doing
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I was kind of like that when I was living with my wife. Even before we got married, before we had a kid, didn't turn my nose up at kid films. I would go and watch them, but I just wouldn't go to them at the movies as much. Like I didn't see Frozen in theaters until they released it 10 years later. I didn't go and see Wally or Up or pretty much any of them. I think the only one, like Big Hero 6, I really regretted not seeing that in theaters. I think the only one I saw in theaters was Incredibles 2 because I loved the first one so much.
Mm,
Once I had a kid and she showed interest in film, now I'm seeing way more kids' films in theaters again. And it's great.
right.
It's
It,
awesome. Like,
ah,
yeah.
dude, 100%. I think the last kids film I watched at the theater only because I had someone who was raving about it was Push Some Boots, The Last Witch.
That's meant to be excellent. Still haven't seen it.
It is. He goes to me. He's like, man. He's like, I know it's like a Shrek film. He's like, you just need to watch it just for the villain. Just like
Yeah.
for the villain, you need to watch it. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, we'll go watch it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
The art style was gorgeous.
I'm like, holy shit, this is really good.
I love the art style, but yeah, like this year we saw this year we've seen what did I take her to? Minecraft, obviously, we talked about.
Mm.
I took her to Lilo and Stitch, which was
Mm.
fine. I don't think it's I don't. Maybe it's the best live action adaptation. Like I don't think it's a very high bar. But everyone who was going insane over Lilo and Stitch, after I watched, I'm like, oh, you liked it because it's Lilo and Stitch. Like, did you not see the original one 20 years ago? Like, it's
Mm.
like it's a great story. Like that's why you like it. It didn't really do anything different. There were a couple of little changes that I did like they kind of gave the system more to do and stuff like that. But that was fine. I know I took her to Dogman. She loved Dogman. We're buying that tomorrow. That comes out on Blu-ray tomorrow. So I've been told I need to go and pick that one up. So I'll get a couple for me as well.
Mm.
But yeah, like, I'm only seeing more kids films because of her. Thank God. Like it's great. Like, but yeah, Elio will hopefully get to. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll let you know if it's worth checking out. But
Yeah, let me know. And just going back to F1,
yes, sorry, yes.
no, it's all right. I got invited to the premiere for that, which was last minute, which was great. And I was very much like you. It didn't really pique my interest. I saw a clip of it, and I was like, yeah, it's a racing movie, so I was a bit like we'll kind of know how this is gonna go. But it goes for 156 minutes, and I got to the end of the movie, and I was like, that was really fucking good. And it's got Hans Zimmer who does the entire score for the film, so that's great. And it is directed by the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that's so funny. I wasn't even do that deliberately.
That's why I thought you just said it.
No, I was just like, because I was never a Top Gun kid. Like I talked about this in the show a few times, but I grew up. My dad was very strange in the way he let me watch movies. So like anything with violence or cursing was out. So like when you talk about like watching Terminator 2 on TV 100 times, I didn't watch Terminator 2 till I was like 26. Like I just never got around to it. But he was fine with nudity. So I got to watch like Animal House and Naked Gun and Flying High and like all those kind of like
Basic Instinct, yeah.
Basic Instinct. I watched that. No, I watched that in my 20s for the first time. But any of those bawdy kind of 80s, like 70s, 80s comedies, totally fine. Caddyshack, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But so Top Gun, I don't know whether he was just not a Tom Cruise fan, but Top Gun kind of fell into more of the action side of things, even though it's not really. So we never watched it. So I watched Top Gun for the first time the year Top Gun Maverick came out. I didn't go to the theaters to see Maverick. I bought the Blu-ray double pack. I watched the first Top Gun movie,
Yeah.
and this is one of my most notorious quotes. People talk me about it quite a bit. I was like, "It's fine," but Top Gun fans need to calm down, because it's fine, but I don't think it's the best movie ever made. But then I watched Maverick, and I was like, "Holy Christ, this is like that." I've always liked Tom Cruise in Collateral, but I've never really been a Tom Cruise guy. Maverick turned me around. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm a Tom Cruise guy now. Like, I get it." It took me a long time, but boy, do I get it. This is a wonderful film. And I just rewatched all the Mission Impossible films for an episode we just did. And I've always been very much a casual fan of them. I thought they were fine. After rewatching them, I'm like, oh, now that I'm clocked in, like now that I'm switched in after watching Maverick, I have a huge appreciation for all these movies. So, like, the first time I saw Fallout, I was like, oh, yeah, it's okay. This time I watched Fallout, I'm like, holy crap, this is a wonderful movie. So,
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because the director, Joseph, I forgot his last name, he said in an interview he wants Tom Cruise to be in a sequel of F1 to like reminisce like his character from Days of Thunder.
oh, that's cool.
And I was like, which I said in my review, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like you give me the director of Top Gun Maverick and F1, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, in like a racing movie. I'm like, get done.
Nice. Very, very cool. Okay, well, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'll get to. I don't think I'll get to see it in theaters because the stuff that I really want to see, I'm barely getting to. But F1, yeah, I'll definitely check out. Because if you don't, I take your reviews pretty seriously. There's a couple I had to put on hold. Like I haven't listened to your 28 years one yet because I hadn't seen it. I'm like, he won't spoil it, but
yeah, I do. It's and by the way, full disclosure, it's basically 28 inches later. That movie.
Yeah, that's a better title.
Just comes out of nowhere. You're like, all right.
I'd heard that was the only two things I'd heard about that movie were a lot of zombie dicks and the ending has one of the weirdest tonal shifts of all time. Which I dig that kind of thing. Like, I like it when they just kind of so like I was talking about this with someone. I'm like, if you saw The Substance is a pretty crazy movie, but there is a weird tonal shift in the last 10 minutes of The Substance, and I was comparing to that. I'm like, it's not the exact same thing, but if you know what that shift is, it's kind of in the same vein. It just goes crazy.
I still need to watch that.
Oh, The Substance. Oh, it's 2.5 hours. My buddy Nick, who co-hosts the show with me, he said he felt every minute of it. He said he didn't like it at all. For me, I was in like I was very unwell. I had what did I have? Gastro. I had gas. I'd just come off a plane. I'd flown. I've been on a plane for like 30 hours. I had gastro, and I was watching it on a laptop screen of all things. And I enjoyed every minute. It flew by for me. So I don't know whether you need to be in that state to enjoy it.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, go for a really long flight, feel awful, and whack it on.
I got one coming up.
Yeah, you're going exactly where I was. That's how to do it.
Yeah.
Don't watch it on the plane. Wait till you get off the plane, and that's how you'll experience it. But so I really, and a lot of people I've spoken to, like, it seems to be like one of those two things. Either you love it and it's quick, or you hate it and it drags. But I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, we should talk about your movies because I think we've been.
We've been ranting for a good time.
We've been talking for a while. Like I was like, I won't go for 3 hours. I think we've been talking for like 90 minutes. So we'll jump into your list. There doesn't have to be any particular order. But I gave you the really frustrating task of bringing your 5 favorite films. So what's number 5 on your list, man? What do you got for me?
Oh, you're doing it reverse. My number 5 would be Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Relatively new film.
Yes.
Which I'm glad to see because I feel like when I talk to people about these lists, and there's no shade, like you like what you like. Most people seem almost obligated to put films from their childhood or from like 20 years ago because something's too new. In my top 5, my top 5 rotates a little bit, but recently Midsommar made my top 5, and I was like, is it too new? But that movie's 6 years old, but it felt too new because everything else is from the 2000s or before. I love Oppenheimer. Why Oppenheimer? Why does that crack the top 5?
That cracks the top 5 for me because if to me it was almost the definition of the perfect storm of like you've got this insane cast, this one of the most pivotal stories in almost human history,
Yeah.
in the top five. And it's shot so well because Christopher Nolan, the man actually put a bomb to go off to
Yeah.
capture it, like the insanity of that. And I know there's been a lot of people who've said, "Oh no, why don't we get to see actually the bomb going off?" I'm like, because it's not the point.
Well,
That's not
one
the point.
person made a big comment about that this week.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know if you listened to my last episode by myself, but I think I ranted for 20 minutes that he's an old bastard. And like, look, if you keep doing the same movie for the next 20 years, then you have no right to talk about anyone else's films.
I've talked about that guy a lot on this podcast. People know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, and makes mostly wonderful films. There's a couple that really aren't my cup of tea, but most of the stuff I really like. But I remember, and I was like, "Is this a joke?" Like I thought maybe he was joking, but apparently he was deadly serious. He was talking about is a very famous quote from before the pandemic, where he's like, "Enough with these Marvel films. Like, what are we going to do? Like
Yeah.
20, 30 movies?" In an interview where he was promoting Avatar 3, 4, and 5. I was like, come on, man. Like, are you kidding? Like, please tell me you're joking. Like, are you aware of irony? Like, come on, dude.
Uh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
Things that come out of his mouth, I'm like, your PR person must hate you, or you're just so out of touch, and you're like, yeah, blue people. You guys want more blue people? I've got it for you. It's coming.
I didn't watch that first one, that first Blue Cat movie for 15 years.
Oh shit, really?
It came out in 2009, and I was
Mm.
very pretentious back then. Like, the podcast name is accurate because I'm no longer pretentious, but I was for a long time. And everyone was losing their minds about it. I was like, I don't care. I'm not watching it. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. And the longer it stayed in theaters, because I don't know if it was the case in America, but you might remember in Australia, it was in cinemas for almost a year straight. Like, they just kept it in.
So long.
And then they re-released it as extended cut. And I'm like, I'm not going. Like, this is not about, like, this is not a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon if you force it. Like, if
No.
you're making it happen to just earn a couple more bucks and you're chasing that dream. Like, he did it a couple of years ago after Endgame, like, set the record. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
Avatar and Titanic are coming back. I'm like,
Yeah, he re-released it just so he could take the top tile again. Which
yeah.
I've said, I'm like, I'm all good for Avatar making that shit ton of money at the first one because I think the first one was good, but it has absolutely no right being the highest grossing movie of all time. That title should go to Endgame. Endgame earned that title.
And I will even give you, and this might be divisive for some people, I'll give you Titanic. Titanic was,
Yeah.
is based like I just rewatched it and a couple of months back. It's the first time I'd watched it in 20 years. I watched it on VHS on Christmas Day when it came out. It was my Christmas present when I was in grade 4, and I watched it and I loved it. And I hadn't watched it since. And I don't find it to be the tale of enduring hope people make it. I actually find it to be quite depressing.
Oh, it
But
is.
but it's an incredible feat. Like, it's like the way he managed to shoot that and like the
Mm.
attention to detail and how beautiful it is. I'll give you that. And it's based on a true story. Like, yes, he made up a romance in there, or whoever wrote it. I don't think he wrote it. I could be wrong. I'll give you that. It's a gargantuan task. That could be for, but Blue Cats, I don't know. Like, to me, it feels very forced, and I do hold him kind of responsible for the state of the film industry today, and not in a good way. I think he was the first one to prove to studios you could make $1 billion at the box office, and like overnight, those $30 million kind of mid-range films started disappearing. Like,
Mm.
there was a time where you would have a Jason Segel like raunchy comedy out like once a year. There was a time where J-Lo was in a rom-com every week, it seemed like. And
Yeah.
all those mid-range films started disappearing, and now they're independent. They're horror, which is its own breed, or they're like tentpole, massive, like $1 billion box office draws. And it all started with Avatar. Um, and that's why we have to pay $30 to buy a ticket now. When I took my daughter to see Super Pets, it cost us $120 for 3 of us to go for
Holy
movies, for
shit.
3 tickets and snacks. I go to Reading now, and granted, like, the picture quality isn't as good. You don't get that; it's not quite as nice. I'm a member. I paid the $20 annual membership fee. I get $8.50 tickets every day. I get 10% off my snacks. I'm thrilled. I'm paying less than $20 for every movie I go to, and I get a popcorn, a drink, and a choc top. It needs to be that. That's the staple, and I'm saving money. Studios, you can charge if you charge less for tickets, you'll still make $1 billion because people will go twice. Like,
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Anyway, so we're talking about Oppenheimer, and then I got very angry at James Cameron. James Cameron, in case people couldn't figure it out by now.
I know. Oh yeah, it was definitely James Cameron because and that was the thing. He's like, "Oh, why don't we get to see the bomb?" And I was like, "Because it's from his point of view, and he wasn't there.
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course, he didn't see the bomb go off."
But also, like, I remember it was one of the first movies I went to after my daughter being born. My daughter was born in 2020, and I've been to the movies a handful of times. But I didn't want to be out of the house too much because I was like, oh, it's not fair to leave my wife at home with our child. I should be around. And then I was like, oh, I could just start going to 9 o'clock sessions. My daughter will be asleep. My wife is going to bed anyway. I can go to the movie.
Perfect.
So one of the first movies I went to see was Oppenheimer. And that experience, man, like when that moment happens, like you're expecting, like, you've seen the opening 10 minutes of The Dark Knight where like the window gets blown out. You've seen like the way he manipulates its sound. You're expecting the most amazing explosion of all time. And instead he gives you nothing. And I don't mean like nothing special. I mean there is no sound at all. And for me in that theater, you could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet and it was perfect. It's a stunning film. That movie, we did a Nolan episode not long after Oppenheimer, and I think we all agreed that it was immediately in his top 3 of all time.
It is.
Like it's brilliant. And it's a biopic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a biopic shot like an action film. Like
it's and the fact that like even like all the extra characters that have like nothing to do is still a very big name star in the film. And that's the thing is like Christopher Nolan is one of my top directors of all time. He his filmography is almost impeccable. Even his worst movie still does something different to the genre or does something unique. It's not just that's a flat out shit. I know like a lot of people don't like Tenet.
I was going to say, I'm curious, what is his worst film in your opinion?
I couldn't tell. I think probably maybe Tenet, but I think it's maybe a little bit. I don't think it makes it a little bit bad. Is that he's gone way too convoluted with the plot. But even him doing that, this film is shot so unique and so different, and it's one of those films that you watch very much like Inception. You go, or like The Prestige.
Yes, underrated. So underrated, by the way, Prestige.
It is. Every time I use The Prestige as a movie, as an example of like, oh, I just saw that, that type of film you watch where you just get the ending and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Wait, no, hang on. The Prestige is perfect like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, even everything he does with Tenet. I remember when I watched Tenet for the first time, I'm like, yeah, this is a little bit confusing, but all the fight scenes reversed, the gunshots are all reversed. It's just done so fantastic.
I think the problem with Tenet, and I've only seen it once, and not because I didn't like it, I just haven't I haven't picked up on Blu-ray yet, so I haven't had a chance to do it. I watched on streaming when it was on Binge or whatever it was on. I think we were all robbed of that cinematic experience. I think we had to go to see it in the theater. I think it would have a lot more, and that's why he doesn't work with Warner Brothers anymore.
No,
like he severed that time. Can you imagine? Like the next film he makes is like the
Oppenheimer.
It's the biggest film of all time. And like they screwed him so much, and he screwed him right back. But I think we had to go see it in a theater. I think that would have changed things. I think it would have a different
it would have.
Because for me, his weakest film, and it's not a bad film at all, is Dunkirk. And I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I think it's really well made. But I just think for me, and I've only seen it once as well, and every film deserves a second chance. I've got to go back and watch it. The first time I watched it, I was still in my kind of pretentious era. But I feel like I couldn't really connect with anyone on a personal level. So it was very,
Mm.
and it's deliberate like that. It's distancing you, but it was very hard for me to latch onto anyone, and so I did struggle with it. So I do want to go back and check it out again. Um, but yeah, his filmography is pretty perfect. Following, I don't know if you've seen Following, his first movie. We just watched that for the first time this year, and that's amazing. Um,
That's not. Is that the
there's
one with the detective?
no, so that's Insomnia, I
That's
think,
Insomnia.
which I actually haven't.
No.
No,
Oh. Oh no, no. Sorry, it is Insomnia.
Memento.
Sorry,
Memento.
Memento.
Yes. So before Memento, he made one other film. It's before he
Took
broke.
off.
Yeah, before he broke. There's no celebrities in it. It's a black and white film. It's like 70 minutes long, and it's about like a con man. Like it's like
Yes.
and like a guy following a con man, and it's wonderful. And you can see like even the main character's name is Cobb. Like you can see like the seeds of future films like in
Mm.
this movie. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Insomnia. I think that's the only one I haven't had a chance to watch.
Nah,
But the
that
dude,
that I do recommend you watching
yeah,
because that's one of the very rare films where Robin Williams plays a bad guy.
yeah. Well, I've seen 1 hour photo, and I don't know whether it counts as a bad guy, but I've seen Death to Smoochie, and that's wonderful as well. But yeah, I like Robin Williams when he gets to be a little bit more unhinged.
Yeah.
Um,
And when our photo, God, I remember
yes.
watching that for the first time, and it's such a weird, like, oh, it's Mrs. Doubtfire. No, this is guy who wants to be inside your family.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in about 20 years as well. But yeah.
But
Uh,
no, but that's why I liked Oppenheimer because it was that's to me was just like this is why you go to the movies. This is
yes.
why you pick up an IMAX ticket and you pay that little bit of extra
Mm,
for something on this such a grand scale. And the fact that at the end of the movie, when they have that final speech, you're just like, oh yeah, we're all screwed. Like
yeah.
that's it. That's the Neil moved and everything that follows from those events.
Yeah. That's it's wonderful. I actually and I've only seen that one once as well, and it's just because I don't want to watch like the way that I watch movies now is I often watch them in parts. It's very rare for me to sit down and watch a movie in its entirety in one go because I have a kid, because I have a full-time job. So unless I'm in this room or I'm at the theater, sometimes I have to watch them, and I want to recreate that experience with Oppenheimer, watching one full sitting. So I do want to go back to it, but it's incredible.
Hmm.
Once we get our IMAX in Foundgate, they should, and I don't know why he hasn't done this yet, but they should just do like a Nolan series and just be like, hey, put everything that Nolan's ever done on IMAX. I mean, obviously there are a couple that don't have the IMAX shooting on them or whatever,
Hmm.
but just do like the Nolan IMAX range and just
Hmm.
I don't know what, like it's gonna make money. Like they're gonna make money. So,
It's going to, and I've actually said this to my wife as well, and a couple of my mates. I'm like, I'm sure they're going to do some kind of special screenings when
mm,
it does finally open. And I was like, if they do Oppenheimer, if they do Interstellar, if they
yes.
do The Dark Knight, I'm like, I'm paying my ticket. I am going to be there.
Yeah, 100%. I am.
Yeah.
I have seen woefully few films in IMAX. I saw all those educational ones when you were a kid, when you do a school excursion, because there was
Oh,
nothing, because
yay.
no movies were shot in IMAX. I'm trying to think if I've actually seen a film in IMAX. I don't know if I have. I know, and this is going to break a lot of people's hearts. I know I saw the Inhumans premiere at IMAX.
Oh,
Uh,
here at Marvel, we don't talk about that.
um, and I remember, like, I was like, okay, it's weird they did this in IMAX. And there's a lot of weird choices. I didn't really watch the Marvel shows until Netflix. I did like I've seen one season of Agents of Shield. Apparently, it's amazing. Like I just never really got into it. It felt too TV budget for me, like kind of um normal TV, not streaming
Hmm.
TV. Before they had like those massive budgets, I was like, it's
Yeah.
fine, but I never went back to it. But so yeah, so my big IMAX screening was Inhumans.
Oh, that's a bad start. What have I've seen they did a re-release for Indiana Jones for to go the first one to go see in IMAX,
Oh, that's cool.
which was pretty cool, especially when the ball was coming around. You're like, shit. Uh, Metallica brought out a movie in
Yes,
IMAX, which was
Through the
called
Never.
Yeah, and that was actually shot really cool in IMAX on how that was done.
Yeah.
Seen Aquaman 2 in IMAX. Didn't know if that really had to be in IMAX. What's his name? What's the it was the sci-fi film that came out earlier this year. Um
Oh,
Mickey 17
yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and the Superman premiere is in IMAX next Tuesday.
Oh, and I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but
Oh,
oh,
I just heard from a friend.
oh, I can't wait for that flick, man. That flick. Oh, it looks so joyous, and I love Man of Steel. Like, I feel like whenever if Superman is talked about on a podcast, you have to throw in the caveat that you like it's Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But I do. I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel made me a Superman fan. I'd never read a Superman comic, seen a Superman. Like, that was my first Superman film. But
Good
this,
start.
it just looks fun. Like, like it's. I don't know. I'm looking for
Hopeful.
people are complaining about. We will get to your second movie in a second.
That's all right.
People talk about like, oh, like there's too many characters, there's too many villains. And I'm like, good. Like, it's Superman. He needs a challenge.
Hmm.
Like, it's only ever one dude. Like, okay, like maybe Zod has a couple of henchmen. He's only, and like the guy he fights most of the time is a human. Lex Luthor. Like, let's give him a challenge. I think like multiple villains is a good idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited. I liked Creature Commandos. I'm keen to see.
How good was Creature Commandos? Like that got me. I was like, yeah, damn.
Yeah. It just worked, and it took me a while. I didn't watch it until this year. I know it kind of premiered last October or whatever.
Hmm.
But being overseas, I had limited access to stuff. So as soon as I came back, I touched it on, and it felt a little bit Suicide Squad. It felt a little bit Harley
Hmm.
Quinn animated series, but it's definitely got that James Gunn sensibility. And goddamn, if they didn't make me cry half a dozen times in that show, like it's.
Oh, I know. Oh, that got me as well. This is the thing is like I've had again. This is a conversation I have with a lot of people. Is that it's not going to be this James Gunn Superman isn't going to be for everybody. We're going to have the hordes of people coming in, going, Henry Cavill is still my Superman. He should have gone. Like, yeah, we get that. And yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that probably aren't going to like this Superman because he is too campy or too hopeful or too bright. And I'm like, well, that's what he's meant to be. That's what creates the contrast between him and Batman.
Mm. Yeah. Here's how effective that marketing is. When that first trailer came out and he's whistling for crypto, I was like, I gotta put this on the TV. I'm gonna show my wife and daughter. My daughter, who has no idea what Superman is, wants to see that movie. It's the classification has been released. It is M, which I was expecting, so it's just a little bit too early for her.
Mm.
But like, I've been driving back to the other side of the city quite a bit lately. So I'm going past the airport, and where the airport is, there's this huge like
Oh, I know what you're talking
there's like
about.
two big signs,
Yeah.
and on one side there's Fantastic Four, and on the other side it's Superman, and like it's so pandering, but I fall for it. I'm a sucker for it. It's a Superman flying across, and it just says "Look up, Melbourne," and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I am here for Superman. I'm here for Fantastic Four as well, but I'm
Yeah.
here for Superman. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Um,
Eddie and I.
yeah. Um,
Um,
what's next? What's number four after Oppenheimer's a
yeah.
fantastic start.
Yeah. Number four would be Avengers.
The very first one, the 2012 one.
Yes, 2012.
Ah,
The reason why is, and I don't think people talk about this enough, or it's
mm,
not given enough credit, is that Marvel did a feat that's never been done in cinema
yes.
on this type of grand scale, and has become the trend since that.
Yeah.
But as a comic book fan, you're watching the TV shows, which you imagine yourself, like the early 2000s film. You see Spider-Man, and you're like, oh, I know, would it be great if he could team up with the X-Men? And you see Daredevil, why can't he team up with them?
Mm,
They do it in they do it in the comics, they do it in the TV shows. But just the fact that we were gonna get that film, we were actually gonna have four franchises come intertwine to make
mm,
one big movie and see all these iconic characters on the big screen for the very first time.
Yeah. I
And oh, sorry.
no, go. I'm just remembering exactly the excitement, but no, please keep going. It's yeah,
And just at first watching Captain America, the first Avenger, getting that trailer at the end of it going, we're going to be
yes,
getting this a year later. And we get that in the middle of the movie, we get that iconic 360 shot of them all lining up, the
yes,
Avengers theme. I'm like, it was just all epic
yes.
from start to finish. And like, yeah, there's since that movie, there's people who have torn that movie to bits and everything. I'm like, no, like,
Really? Is that true? People are tearing it to bits.
oh, that was like, oh, yeah, they could have done this better. They could have done that better. Oh, this, this is this now. I'm like, no, just which everyone does with every film where people go
Mm,
back and rip it to shreds when you go watch it for the 10th time, and which ruins the experience. But I just remember being so excited, getting the first ticket straight away, watching the film, and yeah, seeing all the interaction with everybody for the very first time. It's just
yes,
fantastic.
it's incredible. So I wasn't a comic books fan growing up. I didn't start collecting comics until 2016.
Hmm.
Civil War 2 was the big event happening when I started collecting
Oh.
comics. Um, and I only started buying them because I'd been watching all those movies. I was like, man, I'm watching all those movies. I should check out the original stories. I should get stuck into the comics. So when they announced Avengers, even though I'd seen all the movies leading up to them, and I bought the universe hook, line, and sinker. Like the first one I actually saw was Incredible Hulk, and then I went back and watched Iron Man. I was like, oh my god, like this is amazing. So
Hmm.
I got swept up in the fever, and I've been
Hmm.
swept up in it ever since. But when they were talking about Avengers, I couldn't get my head around it. I was like, what do you mean?
Hmm.
What do you mean characters from 4 different movies are going to meet? Like that's I couldn't make sense of it. Like it sounds so silly now, but I'm
Hmm.
like, no, that's weird. It's like, why would you do that? And I remember we went and saw it opening. It was either opening night or the second day. It was definitely opening weekend. My wife and I didn't live together at this point. It was right. It was the same year we moved in together, but um, she lived in Glen Waverley. So I remember we booked our tickets. I came and picked her up, and we went to a Chinese restaurant beforehand. Went and watched it. Loved it. Every second of it. Loved it. Um, Went home talking about it, whatever. The next morning we woke up and like, what are we going to do today? And my wife goes, this might sound crazy, but do you want to go back to the same Chinese restaurant, see Avengers again? And I was like, yes, I do. And they say you can't recreate like something twice in life. I'm here to say you can. We had the
Hmm.
exact same experience. We had the exact same food. It was delicious.
Nice.
Went back, saw the movie again. And it was, I saw that movie, I want to say 4 times in theaters.
Yeah.
Um, and loved it. It's just, I just rewatched it on the plane coming home, and I know it's not the best way to watch movies, but I was like, look, I've got to kill time. These Avengers films are long. Like I can watch a couple of these
Yeah.
and kill some time. And it had been a minute. Like I think the last time I watched Avengers was probably 20
Oh.
whenever Multiverse of Madness came out. Because I did like a big Marvel rewatch leading up to Multiverse of Madness. Um
2021?
2022, I want to say. It was
Yeah.
yeah, No Way Home was 2021, so Multiverse of Madness 2022. So it'd been a couple of years since I watched Avengers, and like just the grin on my face the whole time, like
Mm.
man, like it's great. And like this is going to be controversial. I think it's also the weakest of the 4 Avengers films, but boy, is it great! I think they progressively get better. I think the first one is perfect. I think the second one cops a lot of flack, but people
Mm.
forget how much work that movie had to do. It had to actually. There's the point between 1 and Infinity War, and it was also like the pivot between phases 1 and 3. Like it did a lot of work.
And
Uh,
Civil War.
and Civil War. Like, it's working really hard at Age
Mm.
of Ultron, and I think it doesn't get enough credit. It's starting to now. People are starting to like show it some more love now, but at the time, people were kind of like, I guess they only had one good swing in them. And then Infinity War, like, holy Christ, like, how did they pull it off?
Oh, I Infinity War, like that was again, if well, the entire excitement for Avengers and then Infinity War, like I remember the whole idea when they first announced it, I'm like, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
They're really gonna put everyone together. We're getting the Infinity Saga
yeah,
on the big screen and the ending. I still remember watching the ending and my entire theater was dead silent.
yes, Yes, we just kind of waited for the post credit sequence, and that happened. And then my wife and I, because of the way that it worked, we had to meet at the theater. We didn't go in the same car. So I drove home, and you would think, oh, well, you're by yourself. You listen to music, you listen to a podcast. I drove home in silence. I was like just trying to unpack it all. And when we got home, we were just kind of sitting there. We are like, so that happened.
Mm,
Like what? Like, geez, like that. And
you
like
won.
it did, like yeah, like wow, like that happened. The only thing that could make Infinity War better, and they couldn't do it at the time because the rights were still being finalized, is if when Fury pulls up his little navigator thing at the end, instead of Miss Marvel, so instead of Captain Marvel's signature comes up, if the 4 came up, that would have been the perfect way to end Infinity War. If
Oh,
you saw that 4 and you didn't know about it, like you would have lost your mind.
you will. Oh, dude. That would have just been. Oh, that would have just been insane.
Yeah,
It was just the four.
if that 4 came up. But we're getting them in
Oh,
Doomsday, so it's all right. It's taken
we
a
are.
while. We're getting them.
Yeah,
Um,
finally.
yeah, it's taken a while, but we got everyone else kind for the most part. We're finally getting them.
Yes.
What was your favorite bit? Avengers. Like like it feels like a film chock full of great
So
moments.
many. Again, the 360 shot was all together.
Yes, yes,
Hearing the Avengers theme for the first time, kicking off. Again, and of course, it's same guy who made the Back to the Future theme and
yes,
the Polar Express theme. So like that's a no brainer. Uh, and yeah, there's actually so many more. Just in the conference room, them just having the banter
yeah,
with each other, them going off one of each other was fantastic. Loki is always a fantastic addition to the film,
yes,
but just it all coming together. And the thing is, a lot of people were talking about how this isn't going to work. It's going to feel overstuffed. How you're going to blend this all together. It fits seamlessly. Everyone
it's
gets their moment. Everyone feels like they're on screen enough. No one feels like they get shafted.
yeah, it's perfectly balanced. And I remember like they hadn't locked Robert Downey Jr. down for the longest time because they were like, "Oh, he's back and he wants money, and do we want to spend
Mm,
money? Maybe we'll just do a cameo." And they even like started writing him out, like at the end of Iron Man 2, like these kind of like they're like, "Oh, you're too volatile. We're not going to make you part of the Avengers." I'm like, "Wait, what? No, no, no.
mm,
Wait, what? But, like, he's great. Why
yeah.
is he going to be in the Avengers?" And then like and like that was I think for that film he got paid $5 million,
Yeah.
and like that was insane. And Doomsday is what $20 million he's getting or something.
Yep. And what's even wild is like they almost did the same thing again for Civil War,
Yes.
where there was a whole script. There was a script written where he wasn't going to be in it.
Mm,
And you look back at that film, and I'm like, he had to be in it. There's no way you could have done this story and executed that way. And not to mention, you get the iconic shot from the comic books of
yes.
him blasting the
Yes.
shield.
Yeah. Which is so funny because they do that. That's one of my favorite moments in the first Avengers is when you see them doing like it reminded me almost of Ultimate Alliance, like all the different team
Yes,
up
yes.
moves,
That's
and
a
he flies
fucking
that.
great game.
Yeah, like, listen to us, couple of nerds.
Yeah.
um, yeah, and Civil War. Apparently, I was reading this recently. Once they secured the rights to Spider-Man, they were like, "Oh, we'll just make him a huge part of it." And Feige was like, "No, no, no. Like, we've got him. Let's take our time. Let's make Black Panther like more prominent." And great choice. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that Spider-Man scene. That when the moment the word Queen shows up in Civil War, like, oh my god, like
Oh,
still makes me giddy. And I'm almost 40. Like I need to probably maintain my emotions.
dude, I'm gonna be right there with the Doomsday, seeing the
Yeah.
original X-Men, and then seeing Fantastic Four, then seeing the Avengers, and just being like,
Yeah.
oh,
Plus all the ones we don't know are coming. Like,
well, that too. Everyone else that's coming on the back end of it all, it's gonna be in it. I'm just gonna be like, oh my god.
I couldn't believe they announced Patrick Stewart and McKellen. I'm like, this is why would you announce that? And then I was like, oh, that's because there's something cool coming. Like this is the distraction.
Yes, 110%. And it's funny because I was like, Oh wow, they announced it. That's probably like, hang on, who who didn't you announce?
Yeah,
Is probably the more bigger question
yeah.
going into this.
It's yeah, man. I'm excited. You know, I know people have been really skeptical about Marvel, and I know they think that post Endgame has been rough. I don't think. I think it's a lot of internet talk. I think there's definitely look. They've definitely had some slips for sure. And
Yeah,
now that Feige's spoken openly about it, he said, you know, like Disney were putting a lot of pressure on them. You know, they had a streaming
mm,
service. They wanted more content, so they were kind of their arm was twisted a little bit to put out a lot more stuff than they probably wouldn't have done shows like Secret Invasion or Echo or like an Agatha show.
mm.
You know, but they were kind of forced to. I don't think it's as bad. There's that whole meme now where it's like they're back, they're dead, they're back. I haven't
Yeah.
felt that way. I like even like what's the weakest project I can think of? Like maybe I guess Secret Invasion is the weakest project. Like
Secret Secret Invasion is probably, yeah. Secret Invasion was thing is that show had a great concept. Everything on paper for that show,
yeah,
it was fantastic. It was just the execution on it. And I hate when people tell me, "Oh, Marvel's dead or
mm.
Marvel's back." I'm like, "No, like shut the f up."
Yeah. Like I was one of the only people in the theater for the Marvels, and I had a great time. Like that, like Aman Valeni or whatever her name is, who plays Miss Marvel, is
Oh,
like she's brilliant. She's so fun. Like I want to see her team up with Tom Holland Spider Man. I think would just be the most fun time at the movies ever. They both love what they're doing so much. Um, you know, like it's not a perfect film. It's got problems. Like they went back to the Phase 2 villain problem a little bit, or the Phase 1
they
villain problem.
did. And I was literally about to say the same thing. That was one of my gripes with it. I'm like,
Mm.
and we're gonna villain that we're not gonna see again and nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, I still can't remember her name. Like, but like there was other cool stuff in there. Like that's the thing. Like She-Hulk wasn't my entire jam. There were definitely moments I didn't like, but there were definitely moments I loved. You know, like
Daniel.
seeing Matt Murdock in the yellow suit, like flipping like an
Yes.
acrobat, like getting laid. Like I remember, like there's my wife too because because Daredevil's my favorite Marvel character. I love Daredevil. And we were watching it.
How good was Born Again? How good was
I
Born
loved
Again?
it. I really liked
How
Born
good?
Again. I think, you know, I understand the criticisms people have, but I think like knowing everything that went on behind the scenes, or knowing as much as we do about what went behind the scenes, I think they did a really good job.
Thank
Like, you
you.
know, we could have had more Muse, but if you've read the comics, Muse does come back. So, you know, we
Yeah,
got
I
room for
know.
more Muse. It seems like they're doing Devil's Reign, which is a great, like, modern comic book arc. Like, if they're doing
Mm.
that. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I remember sitting in bed with my wife watching She Hulk, and Daredevil gets laid by She Hulk, and my wife goes, "You cool with that?" And I'm like, "Oh, like Matt Murdock slays. Don't worry. Like this is very comic book accurate." It's-
He does.
um. Anyway, so once again, clearly you can't put us in a room together. What's number three, dude?
Ah,
Avengers. What a great pull.
another tangent. Number three, the Dark Knight.
Perfect.
Number three is the Dark Knight, which I feel like that's been, that's been told time and time again on why that's fantastic. I loved Batman Begins, and I believe Batman Begins and The Dark Knight have that same type of effect as Aliens and Terminator, where the first film is good, and then you get the sequel that just smashes every expectation
Mm,
on what you're thinking is going to happen out of the water.
yeah.
Where that same argument is like, oh, the first one's always the best. Mm, not with this. And we got Christopher Nolan, sorry, Christian Bale's new Batman suit, which was fantastic. It was so
Yes.
much more accurate to what you could see with Batman being in this real world.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger,
Finally, turning his head after 20 years, he can turn his
yes,
head.
yes. Uh, the Heath Ledger, and I still remember going to this film, and I didn't know they were going to actually pull the trigger with Two Face. I
Mm,
thought he was just going to be a cameo, and then at the end of it, he would be in some kind of crash, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's going to be in the third one," but no, like. And I don't think people give enough credit to Aaron Arquette for doing Two Face because he did
he's
that so well.
brilliant. He's such a great actor.
Yeah.
I really like Aaron Eckhart, and that twist. Like when you go in there, like I remember sitting in the theater, and when Batman shows up and it's Harvey, you're like, oh my god!
You
Like
son of a bitch.
you should expect it. Like you should expect it. It's Christopher Nolan. He made Memento, and this Joker has been proven unreliable multiple times.
Mm,
But like I remember gasps, myself included, like, oh my god, he's at the wrong place. It's not
yeah.
like, oh my god, like I'm just like thinking about it now. There's a huge smile on my face. I'm like, oh my god, that was so amazing.
Yeah.
Um, it's incredible. I
Yeah.
love Begins. I think Begins is, I think of the three, it's maybe the best Batman, best version of Batman, let's say,
Mm.
because you've got that wonderful sequence in the warehouse where he's like throwing batarangs and taking
Oh
out
yeah.
goons from the ceiling. But there's no doubt, like the Dark Knight, just from the first second, like you hear that
Mm.
like now signature Nolan Hans Zimmer like droning noise,
Yeah.
and then just the window blows out, and it's a Batman film, and they're opening it in the middle of the day, and
Yeah.
you're like, wait, no. It's called The Dark Knight. Like, why isn't it nighttime? Like, why was? And that whole Joker sequence is perfect. Like, yeah, no. I'm gonna kill the other guy, like that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I killed the bus driver.
Yeah.
What do you mean the bus driver? Uh, but the Hans Zimmer's theme of the
Yes.
Joker, and it has one of the most iconic, I think, in most recent most recent times, one of the most iconic lines of dialogue that has been used time and time again in so many different mediums of you either die a hero or you
Yes.
live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Because
Ma-
we constantly see that in every medium now.
many of us, including myself, used it when Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's it's so good. Like just talking about it, I'm like, I haven't watched The Dark Knight in about a year. It's time to watch it again. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
do I just put it on straight after this? Um, it's so good, man. Like Heath Ledger, like I know everyone's just like, well, obviously he's brilliant, but people forget. Or people who are too young, people who are too young to remember, like there was backlash. People
Yeah.
did not want Heath Ledger as the Joker. They're
Yeah.
like, "What? The
Oh,
10 things I hate about you, guy?" Like,
or you're talking about the Brokeback Mountain guy?
yeah, he's coming off Brokeback Mountain, which is a wonderful film, by the way. Really great film. But yeah, he's that my favorite. And there's so many good Joker sequences. Like,
Oh,
we're gonna have tryouts, and he breaks the pool cue. Like, yeah. Magic. Want to say a magic trick, obviously great. But one of my favorite bits, and I think it's an accident, and they kept it in. It's when they crash Bruce Wayne's fundraiser, and he's like, "I'm looking for Harvey. Have you seen him?" And he grabs the champagne glass, and before he can drink it, all the champagne falls out, and he just
yeah.
drinks from an empty glass. I guarantee it wasn't scripted, but man, that makes me laugh every time. It's so good.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
And apparently, also, Michael Caine was meant to have lines when they opened the elevator, but that was his first time seeing Heath Ledger in
Yes.
the Joker
Yes.
outfit, so he totally forgot
Yeah.
his
Um,
lines.
yes. Oh, dude.
Yeah,
It's so good. And like
it
the
is.
bike coming out of the tumbler,
Yeah,
like that moment, you're like, you saw all the, and I remember seeing the posters. It was all over the poster, the Bat Pod or whatever it's called.
yeah,
And I was like, man, they're really selling this bike. Look, I don't care. Like they showed me a really cool Batmobile. Why do I need a bike? And the way they did it, like in a very tactile, like practical way, I'm like, oh,
mm.
that's
Uh,
that is cool.
and
The
they
truck?
flipped the damn truck.
Yes.
A full, huge semi trailer
Yeah.
flips.
It's yeah. It is perfect, isn't it? Like it's just
It is, and even the ending, the music,
yeah.
Commissioner Gordon's speech on like, okay, now it makes sense why he's called the Dark Knight, not just
Yeah.
from just from a comic book
Yeah.
aspect, but he's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a Dark Knight, and boom, that's what end the screen, and that's done.
Yeah. It's dude, like even like, I'm just remembering the ferries, like that whole ferry moment, like
Oh
with
yeah.
the between like the rich and the and the prisoners and stuff. Like, it's just it's. We're not saying anything new here, by the way. Like people, like
No,
we get it,
no.
like, but like it
Yeah.
really is. Like
Yeah.
it's such a wonderful film.
It is. And I know it gets a lot. I know it gets a lot of pushback as well, but I think the Dark Knight trilogy is one of those sacred trilogy films.
Yeah, loved Rises when I first saw it. I saw it 3 times. I saw that summer or winter for us. I saw Avengers 4 times and Rises 3 times, and it was a great time. And then after I watched it a couple more times and I heard a few people talk about it, I started to see some of the plot holes in Rises, and I didn't like it as much. But
Mm.
upon rewatching it last year, I think I'm back. I'm like, yes, there are issues with it. Like,
Yeah.
did we need to wait 8 years just so we could introduce someone who's not actually Robin? Like, probably not. But
No.
it is really good. Like Tom Hardy's Bane. I don't know anyone who wasn't like trying to do that voice like with their friends after that movie. Like rock that Bane voice. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Now I still love the interview where he's playing this big, muscly, intense guy, and he's like, the first time he saw Christian Bale in the suit, he was like, oh my god, it's Batman. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
And that fights they had 2 fight scenes in that movie. I know we weren't talking about Rises, but let's talk about it quickly. Brilliant. Like
Oh.
so brutal. The one in the sewers like is so brutal. And then there's the moment in the snow at the end in the daylight, and like when he finally like knocks the anesthetic or whatever out of his mask, and he just starts beating the crap out of a brick
Mm.
wall. Like, oh my
Mm.
god, like, I would like to see, I hope with this iteration of the DCU we do get to see a Venomized Bane at some point. We seem
Mm.
to have got a hint at Venom in The Batman towards the
Mm.
end. So I hope we do get to see that more kind of like cartoonish, exaggerated version. But like, if you're gonna do grounded Bane, like that was a great way to
Yeah.
do it, and no one saw it coming. No one was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, Bane will be the next villain." We're all
No.
like, we're like Riddler, Harley Quinn, like maybe Nolan could find a way to make Mister Freeze grounded. Like if anyone could,
Mm.
so but then there's Bane, and we're like, wait, Bane? Like that's the guy you're doing? And yeah,
Right. And the
uh,
first trailer for it. The
yes,
first trailer was so menacing. That chant from Hans
yeah,
Zimmer, rise, rise, rise,
yeah,
rise.
like Matalo, Bane,
Yeah.
Bane. Yeah, that was so cool.
That and seeing Commissioner Gordon beat up in a hospital bed,
Yeah, well,
seeing
that was
the
the voiceover. It wasn't in the teaser.
yeah.
It was like, I'm like, what's going on? What
I,
happened? Yeah,
and that's the thing is like at the end of Dark Knight, you'd be like, okay, he's gonna still be Batman, but now the cops are after him. You
yeah.
had no one could have predicted this was going to be based off the Dark Knight Returns.
I was like, they're gonna kill him. Like they're gonna like. I think I was like,
Yeah.
as you watch him, like they're gonna. Oh my god, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill Batman. Like so far, as far as I can remember, the only time Batman's died in the comics is when Darkseid killed him. Like
That's it. Only because he didn't have 20 days of prep.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, and Anne Hathaway, I don't think gets enough credit as well for Catwoman. Like
Nah, Sarah was a very delicious Catwoman.
that, like I remember like the first time watching that film, and it's one of my favorite moments in the movie. It's very quick and very subtle, but like when she's in the bar with the politician, and then
Mm.
like the police raid, and she starts screaming. She's like, ah, and like pretending like she's been held hostage, like just genius.
Mm.
And, go on, yeah, yeah.
Same when she's in this when she's talking to Mr. Wayne, and you
Yes,
see her demeanor change from "Oh my god" to "He's
yeah.
mine now."
Yeah.
Kicks his
Yeah.
cane.
Oops, I didn't know it was meant to be. Was it? What's the line she says? Oops, I didn't know it was meant to be unbreakable or something like that. Because she
Yes.
gets. Yeah. That's awesome. And I remember after Dark Knight talking to people, I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't know how casting works, but I reckon if they do Catwoman next, they should probably do like Anne Hathaway. I think she'd be like a
Yeah.
good. And like when it happened, I was like, oh my god, I never predict things. I was like, this is
Nailed
amazing.
it.
Yeah. All right, number 2, because I just realized what time it
It's
is.
all right. We can smash through the next two. Number 2 is Jurassic Park.
Yes. This is, along with Back to the Future, the most referenced movie on this podcast. I think been in almost at least one of everyone's list somewhere,
Oh,
whether it's a top 5 all time or a top 5 90s film. Jurassic Park gets mentioned constantly and with great reason.
of
Um,
course.
yeah,
No shock.
yeah.
Because
And you would have been perfect age when this came out. Was Jurassic Park's 94? So you, oh, wait, were you?
no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
No.
No, I'm 93 kid.
93. Okay, so you were one when this movie came out.
Yeah, no. I remember watching Jurassic Park for the first time and dinosaurs. I probably was a little bit young to watch it
Mm.
when I sometimes look back and going, there was people getting murdered on toilets, body parts getting ripped out. There was a man's arm just loosely hanging around. So this is a lot more darker than I probably should have watched it. But again, a film Steven Spielberg brings a movie to that is meant to be seen on the big screen. The
Mm.
dinosaurs look fantastic, and
Yes.
I still think it. Oh, it's one of the rare films where the CGI and what they did still holds up today.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Yes, like you can see it. Like you can tell like when they go over like the in the over the hill or whatever. You see the brontosauruses for the first time, or
Yes,
whatever the long neck
the
ones.
long shot. Yes.
Yeah, like you can tell it's CGI, but it's so well done. You
Mm.
don't care. And like, yes, I agree. It's one of the few ones from that era that really does hold up.
Between
Um,
that and Terminator 2.
yes, yes, I'll give you that as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not much. Probably not much. Other than it's 6 years later. But then like Matrix, obviously, I think holds up quite well. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's not much in between those films. Um, yeah, the CGI works really well, and the practical effects, like it just. I remember watching. It was either Fall. I think it was Fallen Kingdom, and I
Mm.
didn't mind Fallen Kingdom. I know that one gets a lot of hate. I didn't mind it as much. Jurassic World, the first one, I think is really good, and the second one I think is okay. But there's a moment in the second one where they're touching a dinosaur in a cage, and I'm like, you're not touching a dinosaur.
No.
I can tell you're not touching a dinosaur. Like, obviously, no one's touching a dinosaur because there's no dinosaur.
Yeah.
But in Jurassic Park, like when there's the sick one, or whatever, and they're putting their hand, like that is physical, it's practical, and it's
Mm.
so effective. I'm like, why aren't they blending them?
I
Why and J.J. Abrams showed us with Force Awakens, you can totally utilize practical effects in a modern film and blend it with CGI. Like, I just didn't understand why they chose, and that was the same year. I just don't know
yeah.
why they didn't choose to do it. But
I
yeah,
don't know. Even the second one, the third one, the CGI and the T Rex. Even the T Rex just going down Main Street in the second one
yeah,
still all top. And that's one thing that the new trilogy, or quad trilogy now with
yeah,
Rebirth, doesn't have a candle to.
yeah,
Does not have a candle.
yeah. I really liked, I really liked World, and World did that one. We were just talking about that amazing shot, of the CGI dinosaurs walking across. World did that wonderful thing where you're like, oh, they're gonna do it again, and they're all dead. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's a perfect example of, because I don't care about your CGI. Like, your CGI can be the best in the world, it can be awful. Like, if you're telling a good story, if like your actors are committed, like if you're showing me something interesting or different, like it doesn't matter. Like, I'm very
Mm.
forgiving of things. So your CGI can be awful, but I feel like
Even Mustache Superman. Can you forgive that?
that was the
Can you
first.
forget that?
I'll tell you what. The first time I watched, I didn't really notice it. I wasn't the first time I watched the theatrical cut of Justice League. I was like, you know what, that wasn't too bad, and I would defend that movie. And then when the Snyder Cut came out, I watched Snyder Cut. I was like, oh my god, why did they cut all this stuff? And I was like, all right, well,
Oh,
the first one's not great, but like it's still watchable. Last year, I rewatched them both back to back, and I struggled to get through the 2017 cut.
yeah.
I was shocked how hard it was to watch. Like, and I'm not that guy. Look, I will give everything a chance, but knowing there's another version of that film that fills in all the blanks and took the time to lovingly craft that story, I was like, oh, I can smell the money on this film, and not that they spend a lot of money on this film, but they're hungry for money, and they're just throwing in cheap jokes. And there are some moments in that Joss Whedon cut that I think work really well. I.e., I like Batman using a crook to create the smell of fear. Like, I think that's something the
Yeah.
Batman would do. I love his speech to Barry. Just save one. Those are some really good moments. but there are a couple of good moments in a not very. I don't like to be negative, but it's just not very good.
No,
Um,
and I still remember watching the Snyder Cut and seeing the Flash scene at the end, going,
yes. How could you cut that?
how was this? How was no? We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna get you saving some Russians. That's a lot better to do than you literally turn back time with a fantastic score behind you.
I remember when they get to Themyscira, and they get to it takes them about 40 minutes, I think, in the Snyder Cut to get to Themyscira. In the original cut, 15.
Yeah.
Like it's night and day, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, why did they cut this stuff?
Yeah.
Like it's so great, and even Diana descending on the museum or whatever and saving the children, like that. Like we get that scene in the original cut is great. I do like that scene. I'm like, that's very Diana. She would do that, but like taking the time. I know people criticize the slow motion. I understand the critique, but I also feel like, well, those are the people who are watching their movies in 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
Like that's why they're annoyed about it. But I think like there's a lot of room for the slow motion, and like in that scene, like it's so wonderful. Like,
It's cool.
yeah, like, yeah, I don't get it. What were we talking about?
Sorry,
Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. So the CGI thing.
Yeah,
I
CGI,
think
yeah.
so even though I won't judge films on the quality of their CGI, like I understand like sometimes you don't have the money or the budget or the studio's putting pressure on you. Like there are some recent Marvel films that fall prey to that, like Thor: Love and Thunder being an obvious one.
Oh yeah.
I understand that. But the Jurassic Park franchise, I feel like, is based on having cutting edge effects. Like the reason why the first one is so successful, and it's a great story and it's a great cast and it's very entertaining, but the thing that brought you to the theater or to the DVD or the VHS or whatever it was you're going to believe that dinosaurs are real.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how in 1978 you believe a man could fly with Superman. Like the thing they were selling that movie on was like, you're going to look at the screen and you're going to think that the dinosaurs are back. So that's why I think like I do struggle with the CGI thing a bit more with this franchise as it goes on, because it's like no.
It doesn't get any better.
The heart of
Spoil
it.
it.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like because is the new one's on the island or on an island as well, isn't it? Like
It is.
people were really excited about that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I remember when I was watching Dominion, because the end of Fallen Kingdom, I was like, oh my God, we're going to get Mad Max with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was thinking. And Dominion, at one point, they're like, well, we're going to go back to the island. And I laughed. I'm like, they're kidding. There's no way. And I was like, wait, what? They're going back to the island again? We've gone to the island 6 times. Like, how many islands do we need to go to?
Oh, and there's so many islands. There is just after 2 and 3 and the most recent one, like, how many islands did they have?
Yeah.
How
And
many islands are in Costa Rica?
people were so excited for this new one. And I do want to see Rebirth. I like that they're leaning more into horror. But like when they're like, they're going back to the island, I'm like, you didn't need to tell me that. If you had like said there's a new Jurassic Park movie coming out, I would have been like, hang on, they're going to an island. Like,
Yeah. And I look forward to your review when you watch Jurassic World, because my review is going to be out. Well, I'm going to record this very soon. But I'm very curious to know your review for it, because I don't know if you saw my letterbox score.
I don't think I've seen it. It's been very divisive, this one. I've seen like some people really like it, the shift in tone. Some people are criticizing the CGI, and some people don't like it so much. They think it's more of the same of the last couple. So I'm keen, but I'm also, it's not a franchise that I didn't grow up with. Like Jurassic Park, I came to a little bit later in life, like more in my teenage years. So I don't have that same kind of emotional attachment to it the way a lot of people do. So same with Star Wars. I came to Star Wars late as well. So people like lose their mind over Star Wars, and I'm like, I thought Attack of the Clones was pretty good. Like Attack of the Clones was my first Star Wars movie. So
Oh, you poor soul.
that's the reaction that everyone gives me. I'm like, what? You guys don't like the big arena fight? Like, isn't that cool?
It's good, right? Right?
I always the phrase Master Cypher Diaz gets referenced a lot in my house. But yes, I am keen to check it out. Like I'm here. The more it goes on, the further we get away from the box office weekend. it feels like it's skewing more negatively. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely let me know when you watch it. But yeah, Jurassic Park, that first one, like for last year, was it last year? My wife surprised me with tickets to go see the John Williams score at the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra,
Ah, cool. That's very cool.
which was incredible. Like hearing the Star Wars themes,
Mm.
hearing like themes that I didn't actually know he actually had a hand in, hearing the Home Alone theme,
Yes.
stuff like that. But then hearing the Jurassic Park theme, just I felt like I was like 10 again.
Yeah.
Hearing that theme for our live orchestra was just incredible, and that's what I'm hoping to do once again because apparently I don't know if you've seen it, but the Marvel
Yes.
Infinity
Saga.
Orchestra. Now I
Yes.
really want to go see that. Like that, hearing the Portal scene, hearing the Avengers theme live, I was like, say no more. But if a theme can do that to you and take you back to you when you're 10, it just shows you how good it is and how much you love that film.
We're very lucky here in Melbourne. We the MSO does some really cool stuff, and I don't know. I'm sure every major city around the world does something like it. Like obviously, I know the Hollywood Bowl does it a lot in LA, and I'm sure London does stuff, but I don't hear about it all the time. But we're very lucky. Like a couple of years ago, I went and saw. I think it was Prisoner of Azkaban, with the MSO. So
So did my wife. She's gone seen like all of them in
yeah,
live orchestra, and
I
she
think
loves it.
I think it was Azkaban, which it was my wife's birthday, and her friend Maddie, who's one of my co-hosts now. We weren't friends, we weren't like close like we are now, but 10 years ago, whatever. She bought us tickets, and we went like as a double date to it, and it was amazing. Like they do Back to the Future, they do all sorts of cool stuff, and they're
Mm.
doing what's the other one I saw? They're doing another one, but yeah, we get it all the time. The MSO is doing all sorts
Mm.
of cool stuff down here, so that would be very cool to see all
Oh,
the John Williams stuff. Um,
it's incredible.
who I've talked about in the show quite a bit, but you don't have modern cinema sound without him. Like he scored
No.
our childhoods,
Hmm.
like Home Alone, like Harry Potter, like Jaws. Like
Yeah.
I got a buddy, my brother-in-law. He's come on the show a couple of times, and he's a psychology teacher, and he uses music in his classroom to see, like, to try and like see if it evokes feelings. It's so funny you mentioned like hearing the Jurassic Park theme and like being 10 years old again. Like he does that sort of thing, and he broke my
Oh.
heart one day. He's like in his psychology class, he played the theme from Jaws, and he's like, "How do you feel listening to this?" And all the kids were like, "What is it?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's Jaws. What are you talking about? Like it's Jaws, guys. It's Jaws, guys. Please, it's Jaws." Like,
Somebody say something, please.
have you heard of the phrase blockbuster? Like this
Yeah.
movie was responsible for it. Like this is
Mm.
the movie that should never have been. It makes no sense. This film is as good
No.
as it is, but what do you
No.
mean? It's Jaws.
And you've actually just reminded me. I just still need to watch that doco on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Uh,
is there a Jaws? Oh, there is.
it's
I
like
haven't
the
watched it either.
50th anniversary or something like that documentary about Jaws, and apparently it's meant to be really good.
I have which one do I? I've got a anniversary. I might have the 30th anniversary or the 40th anniversary. And there's a great documentary called "The Shark Still Works" or "The Shark Is Still Working."
Mm.
That's a really good documentary as well, and it's all about the cultural impact the movie had.
Oh,
And like you see, there's interviews with like filmmakers who are like, "I'm a filmmaker because I watched Jaws," and
mm.
like there's a guy with like the largest collection of screen used props from Jaws because like Universal. I don't know if you heard this story. I don't know when it was, but in the 90s, at one point, the whole Jaws set, like the orca and like everything, were just on the Universal lot. And Universal, like some studio exec was like, "Ah, we don't need this anymore," and like destroyed it all. And Spielberg was like pissed. He was like, but like some guy went in and like reclaimed a bunch of the props and stuff so they could keep it alive. Um, so
Yeah.
I think he's in that doc as well. It's a really good documentary. Um, Jurassic Park
Correct.
makes you can. It's for those listening who are like, why are they so tight? It's almost 11 p.m.
Yeah. All right.
I said to my wife, I'm like, I probably won't go for 3 hours. I reckon we're right. We're literally closing in on like 2.5 hours as we talk.
Yeah, we are.
Jurassic Park makes perfect sense, but it begs the question because you gave me a list. I've completely forgotten your list, which I'm really glad I did. I like being surprised. Oppenheimer, Avengers, Dark Knight, and Jurassic Park. Like, what could be better than those four? What's number one?
All number one, which you've actually already said it, and it's really everyone else is Back to the Future.
Yes.
That
That's right. I
uh,
do remember. Yes.
I that is my probably guilty pleasure film is the right one, but I could watch that again and again and again. And it was one of those films, like as I was talking about, that got if I was talking about one movie that just got me so into film and just so like and I'm excited what films could do was Back to the Future. A kid that gets
Yes.
in this slick DeLorean, goes back and forward in time. It's a time travel movie. It's funny. It does have. It's funny when I look back and going, it's a little bit weird that he does kiss his mum. But anyway, and because the fact that the directors kept it in their contract, unless they both die, it can never be remade. It can never
Yes.
be get a fourth sequel or anything like that. And once you're looking at your phone or your time, no pun intended, obviously, and it just works. It just absolutely works. And it's funny because I didn't really think about it until later on, which there is I think Bob Gower did mention. I was like, oh, how did he become friends with Doc? How did a 15-year-old kid become friends with the weird scientist in town?
There's a really good John Mulaney bit. I don't know if you watched John Mulaney stand up, but he's like talking about what the pitch meeting must have been like. And it's like, it's about this 15-year-old boy called Marty, and he's cool, right? And he's like, no, he's not cool. And his best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? I love Back to the Future. It's in my top 5 as well. And I watch it every year. If I do the trilogy, I will knock out the trilogy. 2 is my least favorite, and it's just because 1 is brilliant and 3 I
Mm,
think is really underrated.
it is.
But it's 3 is really good. But I love Back to the Future. I think, yeah, it was. I saw it when I was a kid as well. I would have been like 7 or 8 the first time I watched it. Got it from the video store. It was the first time I was introduced to a cliffhanger because at the end of it, it goes to be continued, and you're like, what?
Mm,
And I remember I turned to my dad and I go, "What does that mean? What is that? But I've never seen that before. What does that
yeah.
mean?" And he's like, "Oh, well, there's another one." And and I think I'm trying to think if I knew about sequels at that point. I I must have, but most films don't have a sequel planned, or at least didn't back when we were younger. Like now, like they're building universes, like that's the new language.
Yeah.
But when we were kids, like sequels weren't really planned, and I was like, "There's another one," and the story continues. And that's the other thing. The sequels didn't necessarily continue the story the way the Back to the Future did, or the way they do now. Like now they pick up where they
No.
left off. But Back to the Future was kind of unique like that. And I was like, can we watch it, please? And my dad was like, "There's 3," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I'm sorry,
And
what?
it's like, and it's like, and the next one they actually go. 'Cause that's the thing. The first one they actually don't go to the future; they go to the past. Like,
No.
but he's like, the next one they go to the future. I was like, oh yeah, I was wondering about that. It's like in the third one, it's a cowboy movie, and I was like, what? What do you
I,
mean? How do they have a car in cowboy times?
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I'm exactly the same. The whole thing from going into the future, back to the past. I got really excited one day because I used to have Grand Theft Auto Vice City on the computer,
yes,
and someone brought out a whole mod for that on the computer that you could change. It was called the Back to the Future mod, and you could get a DeLorean. You can make it go through time. They mod
that's
it so
cool.
it got struck by lightning. And the cool thing
Nice.
was it like because you obviously got through, you got the clock. If you use the controller, like the microcontroller that they did with the first one, and you set the time for it to come back in 10 minutes, you could literally watch a car go through, and it would reappear 10 minutes later if you stood there.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
I learned the hard way. I was like, I probably should have moved the first time because I stood there waiting for. I was like, oh, it's coming. Just
um,
takes you out. But
it,
it's such a sacred film.
it's perfect. It really is. Like, here's
Mm.
how effective Back to the Future is. I've seen Back to the Future conservatively 50 times. I would say my wife maybe a little bit less, but she and I both, like, my wife isn't a big fan of movies the way I am. She likes movies, but I think Well, you know what it's like.
Different
You know
level.
what it's like.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future is one that she watched a lot as a kid as well. There's how effective that movie is. Every single time in the final act where Doc slips while he's trying to connect the car to the clock tower, my wife jumps. Every single time. She's seen it at least 40 times and it still gets her. That's how effective it is. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so fun. The girl who plays Marty's girlfriend before she was replaced by Elizabeth Shue
Mm.
is wonderful. She was really good. It's a real shame she had some personal issues that she was looking
Yeah.
after her mum and stuff like that. But she's so good.
Mm.
Biff, like, what a great villain!
Yeah.
Like, he's so cartoony and like mustache twirling, but also just like a great bully. And we're talking about Oppenheimer being really relevant today. There are elements of Back to the Future too that are really relevant today
Oh,
as well.
there
Like,
is. There
it's
is.
it's it's just so much fun,
And the
and I know
theme.
that's yes, dun, 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 dun,
The
dun, yes,
theme is right there. Every
yes,
part of it.
and it's just I feel like there's this real. I don't know where the pressure or expectation is coming from, but it feels like a lot of modern action adventure films aren't aren't confident enough to be fun. They're like, we need to be serious, we need to be grounded, we need to be gritty. And I was like, no, bro, like, please be fun. Like, Back to the
Yeah.
Future does all those things. Raiders of the Lost Ark does all those things,
Mm.
and is also fun. And like, I don't know whether people saw like Nolan's like take on Batman, like that's how we're gonna do everything from now on. But like, no, 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 like we can have fun. And that's I think why I'm so excited to bring back to Superman. I think I'm so excited. Like, I love Man of Steel. I think it's
Yeah.
brilliant. I think it's maybe the best movie in that franchise.
Oh,
But this movie looks really fun. It looks
that,
really fun. Like,
it does. And you are completely correct. The Dark Knight did set that trend for we
yeah,
to go more serious. And there's a good reason that Man of Steel needed to go in that direction
yeah.
after Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4 and
Returns.
Returns. It
Yeah,
really needed to go completely left field.
yeah, yeah. And and like, to be fair, I say that like it's everything's going grounded and gritty. Like, Marvel have walked the line of tone very well for most of their phases. Like, there have
Mm.
been a couple that have shifted a little bit too hard, like Love and Thunder, and controversially, I think Ragnarok also leans too hard to the comedy at times.
Mm.
Love and Thunder, I actually find to be less egregious in the comedy department than Ragnarok. Ragnarok goes into slapstick. I'm not sure why. I know I'm in the minority, and that's fine. But for the most part, like, they walk that tone really well. Their dialogue's really snappy. Tony's really
Mm.
entertaining. Um, but most other films and franchises feel like they're like Mission Impossible, great. Not a lot of room for fun. Like, very serious. Do you know what I mean?
No.
No. Those Bond films, amazing.
Mm.
Not a lot of room for fun. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I hope more people take a note out of Back to the Future's book and
Mm.
go back into fun.
Well, the new Bond film is going to be directed by the Dune director.
So not fun. Um,
No, I don't think so. Because I don't know if you know this, but apparently Nolan really wanted to make a James Bond movie,
yes.
but the Kowalskis, I can't remember the names, who are still well, until a couple of months ago they were still the main controller over the James Bond franchise.
Yeah, the Broccoli family, and then it got bought out by Amazon, and like it
Yes.
was really funny. It was like, we'll give you $1 billion, and they're like, no, and they're like $2 billion, and they're like, okay,
Sure.
like,
Sure. Apparently they wouldn't let Nolan have the final say. And he's like, I'm not doing it then.
yeah, and Villeneuve also doesn't get final cut. Like, he can make his own story, but they're going to get final cut approval.
Yeah.
Um, I
And
hope I like Villeneuve quite a bit. I am not a huge fan of his sci-fi movies. I think I appreciate that they're masterpieces on a visual scale. I think technically the Dune films and Blade Runner 2049,
2049.
they set the standard.
Stunning.
I think they're perfect. But I like when he tells personal stories. I my favorite version of him as a filmmaker is like Sicario, Prisoners, when we're telling human stories, going through human grief and stuff like that. So if we get some of that human element in his Bond, I think we're in for a really special thing. But
Mm.
it just depends on what he does with it. But I don't think it'll be fun. um,
No, I don't think it. I don't think it is will be either. And I remember reading that story about Christopher Nolan and James Bond. I'm thinking, if Nolan comes to you, it says, "I will do a film about your character." You give that man the final cut. You
yes.
give it to him. You don't go, "Oh, I just wanted in case to change anything." No, you drop the bag of money at his doorstep and you walk away.
Yeah, and like we just said before, like the guy has a like flawless filmography. Like this was probably it probably would have been pre-Odyssey. Like so, like
Yeah.
he would have had the time. He was coming off the Oscar win. Speaking of which, the Odyssey looks incredible. I haven't watched the. I know they leaked a
Oh,
trailer. I haven't watched that. I'll wait until I'm in theaters. But
I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it yet, but I did see someone do a really mention this in a tweet. I couldn't be more right. And the tweet was, "There is nothing more as a more Christopher Nolan thing is that when you put a poster of your film and you have a stellar cast and none of them are on the front cover of the poster."
yeah,
And it's literally just, I forget what it's called. And then this little tagline just says, "The gods will fall on this day." It's like, sold. So sold.
I'm so glad he's doing fantasy. We haven't really seen him do like after Oppenheimer. And I remember I was talking to my friends about. I'm like, what do you want to see him do next? Like for me personally, I was like, let's see him do horror. Like we haven't really seen him do
He
horror.
would really kill people.
Yeah,
They would
well,
really die.
that's true. But someone else said fantasy. I'm like, yeah, I think he'd do fantasy well as well. So we're going to see him play, like, and not because his films, like, one could argue that Interstellar is a fantasy film, but
Mm,
apparently the science is pretty close. So, like, I don't know,
mm.
it's the most grounded fantasy film of all time. But yeah, I'm keen for Odyssey as well.
It's
Um,
it's gonna be so good.
yeah,
And then the fact that we're gonna have IMAX right around the corner for that
yes,
is yes.
absolutely. Um, Leigh, that's an incredible list, man.
Ah,
Like, it's a really good list. And like some people might be like, well, yeah, like obviously they're all great films. That's why they're on the list, man. Like that's why they're there. Like, um, and I don't get to talk about. Don't think we've talked about the first Avengers film that much on this podcast. I've definitely talked about a couple of the other ones, but Avengers, I think I've talked about on one episode maybe. Um,
oh, well, then you need to come on my podcast more. Oh,
well,
happy to talk about it all the time.
spoiler alert, we are trying to arrange me to come onto your show, so we've got
Yeah.
to. There's a certain movie we've got to wait to come out. I won't spoil it. Hopefully, we'll be able to go see it early as well, but we'll see how we go.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed.
crossed. If those people ever
Yeah.
answer my emails. Um, before we get out of here, and we will get out of here because boy is it late. I don't have work tomorrow, but I assume you do.
It's all right. It's my last week before I head off, so
So
there's not much. There's not going to be much work happening.
you're going on a lovely old trip. If you had gone last week, you would have caught James Gunn in Oxford Street because he was in HMV in Oxford
Ah,
Street.
I
Uh,
saw that.
I saw that and I was like, I was at that HMV and I spent so much money there. It was it was almost a year earlier, but
Still,
yeah, like I was in the same place, kind of.
mm,
Um, you even though you don't buy anymore, like you should check out HMV on Oxford Street. It's
yeah,
amazing. Like it's a monument to all that we love. Before we get out of here, I always end my show with first time guests with a rapid fire question round. Based on the way we've been talking about things, it might not be so rapid, but we'll try. And it's just about your film watching habits. So, Leigh, what is the last movie you watched? I asked you to
Uh,
take a drink. What a jerk.
yeah, it's all
I
right.
was.
Jurassic World.
Nice. And we'll pin that until your review comes out.
Yeah.
All right. You watch a lot of movies like me. What's that one movie that's sitting on your watch list? You should have watched it. You're going to get to it eventually, but for whatever reason, you just keep putting it off.
Oh. That's a really good. Yeah, it's a really good question. I'm just trying to think. What's the film that's been sitting there for way too long? Um, it's probably some surprise. I've seen the second one. Probably Dune, the first one.
That's interesting. You said the second one and not the first one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't seen the first one. I saw the second one because how big it was, and my friends really wanted to go. And I have a mate who's telling me all the time. He's like, "Oh, if you watched it, yeah." I'm like, "Nah, it's there, but there's like a whole bunch of other better films to probably watch."
it's interesting that franchise that franchise like it blew everyone away. They're like it's the most amazing thing, and it's just not my jam. And like no disrespect, look again, I think it's a technical masterpiece. I just can't connect with it for whatever. I've only watched them both once, and I keep saying every film deserves a second chance. So I will give them both another chance at some point, but they're also very long. So
Oh my god, yes they are. God, and actually, I lied. The only reason I watched the second one was because Florence Pugh was in it.
and she wasn't in it for much.
No, so that tells you how much I'm gonna watch the first one.
I was doing like one of those quizzes on Instagram today, and I don't partake in them too often. And they were like one of them was like favorite actress, and I was like, me, it's like Florence Pugh. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that, but I guess she's one of my favorite actresses. It was just made like Anya Taylor Joy, her and Imogen Poots. I'm like, wow, okay, there you go.
Mm.
Like they were just there in my head. I didn't even realize. She
Oh,
is wonderful. Um,
she, I liked, just fantastic in the fact that she can go from the really small roles, like just recently, We Live in Time, smashes out, Thunderbolts,
mm,
and just that same 2 week gap, just
yeah,
does so well.
I
And she's
think
and she's younger than us.
yeah, most of them are younger than me these days. Like New Hollywood,
Ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
most of New Hollywood's born after born in the mid 2000s. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no. Um, one of her greatest performances, and I feel like is really unsung, is just that brief moment she has in Hawkeye. Like she's got like
Oh, yeah.
only there's this couple of scenes like with Kate Bishop. I'm like, oh my god, like yes to all of this. Can we see these two in everything? Because
Yes.
they, oh my god, they're amazing. Um, all right. You're a big movie fan. You watch a lot of movies. Do you cry? You a big movie crier?
I'm not a big movie crier.
Okay.
I'm not, but the last movie I saw, which I cried, didn't weep, cried in, was Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh
That,
boy.
oh, that got me. That really got me. And it is the reason why I have not gone back and watched that film.
I haven't gone back either. I've got it. I've got it on. I've got
Yeah.
the steel book on my shelf. I think it might still be in plastic. Um, but I haven't gone back either. And afterwards, it was one of the first movies my wife and I saw together after our daughter was born. My wife has only been to the movies with me since our daughter was born, so she has seen maybe 5 movies. And after Guardians, I was like, wiping like the floods of tears away. It's
Yeah.
like, what did you think? And she's like, it was amazing, and I'm never gonna watch it again. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, like that's fair. Totally, that is a rough one. Yet another example of like why people should have faith in James Gunn. Um,
Yes.
that moment where, and spoilers for a 2-year-old film, but that moment where Groot sprouts wings, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what they do with Swamp Thing now.
Oh, I know.
Like as soon as that happened, because they just announced Swamp Thing as part of the phase, and
Mm.
I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get Swamp Thing with wings.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yes, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. There's been no updates on Swamp Thing though, so I hope we get him still.
No.
Um, is there an actor or an actress that you'll follow anywhere? It doesn't matter what they're in. If they're attached to the billing, you're going to watch that movie.
Uh actor would be Robert Downey Jr., but I feel like that's a little bit too on the nose on why.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he's great. I watched The Judge. The Judge. People like that. That film got critically like slaughtered. I loved The Judge, and it's because of him. He's great in it.
he is probably, yeah. I'd say yep, 100%, yeah, 100%. Oh, and actually, either Robert Downey Jr. or Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Generally,
nice.
generally, what Hugh Jackman picks, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in.
Yes, he's really like people like always think of him as either musical theater or Wolverine, but the dude's got range. Like I was talking about,
Prisoners,
yes, terrifying,
uh,
terrifying.
Prestige.
Yes.
And if you really want to go back, which is such a 90s film, I think it's called Swordfish.
Yes, 2001.
Yeah.
He has. There's a very weird scene with him at a laptop early in that film,
Yeah.
and I was like 14, 15 when I was watching that. I was like, huh. All right, this is weird. But
All
yes,
right then.
the Lord Fierce, Guy Pearce as well, and was it Halle
Yeah.
Berry,
Yeah, Halle Berry and
John Travolta?
John Travolta in the film. Yeah.
I wonder how. I haven't seen it since I watched it on DVD when I was like 14 or 15. I wonder how well that flick holds up, especially in the realm of being a hacking movie. Because
Oh no, it's still so. I have to hack it, the network, the 5 frame, and then it's all done. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
so early 2000s.
That's so funny. I got to check it out again though. I reckon like Umbrella will do a release of that soon. Umbrella are killing it in the physical media game at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we don't like to be too negative, but what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh yeah. Okay. Can I have 2 answers?
Go for it.
Number one is Madam Web for most recent. That is an utter train wreck of a fucking movie. Like that is just god awful of acting, screenplay, camera work, music, story, everything. The villain is dubbed over his lines.
I saw Madam Web opening night. I went and saw it in a theater I was the only person in the theater, and I had a great time. Not because it's a brilliant piece of cinema, but I did have a lot of fun. But the one thing that I really noticed was like, oh, this villain is dubbed.
Dubbed
Like
over.
it's dubbed and he's talking like the way you would see in like a telenovela. He's like, "Yes, I will have them. I'll defeat them."
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm like just a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
My argument, my defense of this film is I just think it's just poorly marketed. Don't market it as a Spider-Man film because you showed us those costumes. That's the only time they appear in them.
Yeah.
Market it as an unofficial like PG sequel to Final Destination, and suddenly people are interested
Yeah.
because it's all about like looking into the future and stopping it from happening.
It's just all around bad. Or like, oh, we're gonna name him Parker. Or yeah, we're gonna call him.
Yeah.
What? Why are you saying it? What's the bad thing in saying it? And the fact that you have Sydney Sweeney, you have all these great actresses that have gone to go do a whole lot better things. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched a movie and gone, no, there is no redeeming qualities. That is just straight up awful. And the other film is Don't Look Up.
Oh, is that the DiCaprio one, the climate change
Yeah.
one? I haven't seen it. I remember when it was coming out, people were like, "It's going to be amazing. There's so many wonderful actors in it," and then it not. Like some people really liked it, but it seems like a very small vocal minority. Like,
Nah, that was bad. Actually, sorry, I lied. The most recent film I watched that was a god awful was Hurry Up Tomorrow with The Weeknd.
I haven't seen that one.
No, that was
not
bad.
good. All right, good to know.
Yeah.
Excellent. We have one last question.
Yeah.
What movie should they never remake? We're doing remakes, reboots, requels, all of it at the moment. But what's one they're not allowed to touch in your eyes?
Well, I'd say Back to the Future would be. That would have to be that film that you just don't touch. You never touch it. They can't touch it. As much as I try, never again. But if I think of something probably really recently, which I think we've touched on, I think Avengers. The first Avengers. Like you could not, it will never. It's different with Avengers Doomsday. Again, different with Avengers Secret Wars. But if 20 years down the track, they were to reboot the Avengers, it will not have that same aura as the first one did.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you could argue they kind of did it with Thunderbolts. With that, this is the first time I've uttered the phrase on the podcast. So, spoiler alert for Thunderbolts. But it was actually a new Avengers film, and like even with them like ending in New York, like the fight in New York in Avengers Tower, I'm like, wow, that's actually very, very close to the plot of Avengers, but it's not. But you're right. Like, and if I think back to like Spider-Man, like I love every Spider-Man movie they've made. I was one of the few people who really enjoyed the two Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield. I really liked them. I saw them both in theaters opening weekend, and I adored them. But if I go back to that first Amazing Spider-Man movie, as much as I really do like it, I was kind of like, this is kind of just Spider-Man, except you just swapped out Green Goblin for Lizard.
Yeah.
And I like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. I like everyone in this, but it doesn't feel like you're really doing anything new with it other than swapping the villain out. It kind of feels very copy and paste in a lot of
And
places.
a new suit.
Yeah, yeah, with the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second suit I like better. The first one not so much, but actually I like a lot of things from the second movie. The people like the Spider-Man theme I think is better in the second movie. Yeah, so I agree with you. I think Avengers would be really tough to rank. Back to the Future is the most common answer we get. So
Yeah, you can't touch. Or even the first Jurassic Park, you could not remake that.
well, they kind of did with it was Jurassic World. Like that's kind of beat for beat.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Like it's not a direct, like it's not a remake, but like if you watch it, like just like how Force Awakens is kind of beat for beat New Hope, like they kind of they have done those, but I don't mind them if they're executed in a fun way. Like Force Awakens is very much a New Hope, but it's fun enough. Like yeah, I'll let this slide.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic World is fun enough where I'm like yeah, I'll let like that whole like.
Well,
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, for Jurassic World, I think the premise for that was fantastic because it was like, okay, what if the park was real?
Yeah.
What if it was open? Like, what if the dream came true? Like, what problems would they have? So
Yes.
the whole plot for that film works perfectly.
And there are so many things I love. I love that, like, because dinosaurs are real now, like kids are bored by it. They're like, I'm stuck on my phone. I'm used to dinosaurs. I've lived with dinosaurs, so it's not cool to me. But us were like, what are you talking about? And that whole attack on like the outdoor food court scene, like where like the pterodons are like picking up people, like amazing. Like, oh my god, so good. Leigh, you have been a fantastic guest, man. I've had so much fun talking to you.
Likewise.
Thank you for being so patient. Like we have gone for almost 3 hours, which I was like, that won't happen tonight. And we lied to ourselves. Before we get out of here, tell them where they can find you. Where's the show? Where can they find you on the socials? Let them know where they can get all the ranting action, as it were.
You can find Lights Camera Rant on wherever you get your local podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, and we're also on all major social media platforms. So Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Grindr, Instagram, like it's all the popular ones. Hey, look, you need to appeal to every demographic.
I wasn't expecting it, but it was just the way that you just didn't didn't hit me to the joke. You just let it go. It was great. Dude, it's been a joy. It's been so much fun talking about movies. I figured we'd probably have a bit of fun. Like we've met in person, had a bit of a chat before, but it just totally exceeded my expectations how much fun we had. So
it was good, man.
I'm glad you enjoyed as well. You're welcome back anytime. We'll do this again at some point. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you dug it. If you haven't checked out Lights Camera Rant, it's a great show. Leigh does a lot of the shows by himself, which I admire because it's such a hard thing to do. But his group shows are really good as well. If you haven't listened to the 4th anniversary episode, that's a blast. It gets very controversial, but I'm totally on Leigh's side, so definitely stick up for him. Like
somebody,
yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know who our next week's guest is going to be. This is being recorded really far in advance, but I'm sure there's someone wonderful next week. So come back then. And as we say every week on the show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Back to the future.